It's 85 degrees in Fort Myers, and it's only 25 in Boston, and everybody cheers. You can't do that today.
Yeah, they missed their cheap laugh here today with that one. It'll be Mateo, Wisely, and Farmer for the Braves here in the top of the first inning, facing the right-hander Sonny Gray, 36-year-old righty. .106 Eastern and 12:06 Central. And I've got an official game time temperature of 58 degrees. We had a big front roll in off the Gulf about 6 p.m. last night. Came right across Florida, really lowered the temperatures here today. There's a strike on the inside corner, 0-2. What are these Braves hitters going to expect to see out of Sonny Gray today?
It is a deep repertoire, and even though he has gotten a little bit older, he still knows how to generate swing and miss. That four-seam fastball is going to sit around 90-91. Sweeper, curveball, two-seamer, cutter, and a changeup. The full kitchen sink that you get from the veteran Gray.
Yeah, deep bag of tricks for Sonny Gray. That was an ABS challenge, and that is a strike. Mateo wasn't so sure, so it's an 0-2 count on Jorge Mateo.
I mean, that look was kind of down the middle there for Jorge Mateo.
Ball low and outside, missed with a sweeper, 1-2. Sonny Gray, 5'10", 190, right-hander from Smyrna, Tennessee, went to Vanderbilt. In high school, not only a star baseball player, but star on the football team as the quarterback. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and a bouncer out to short, charging Trevor Story. Scoops and fires, low throw, but dug out backhanded by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And one down here in the first inning.
So Kiner-Falefa has not played a lot at first. He is a good defender, won a Gold Glove over at third. You can put him anywhere in the infield, but this afternoon here for the Red Sox, we're going to look at him over at first base. I don't think he'll be there very often, but he gets a look today.
Getting a look today, and when you and I were chatting with some of the Red Sox broadcasters, it seems as if one of the major goals of the offseason and turning into spring training was improving the defense all the way around.
They were in a lot of conversations for a lot of infielders.
Brett Wisely takes the ball low and inside.
And I don't think they necessarily got the big fish that they wanted, right? They tried to sign Alex Bregman back. That didn't happen. There was talk about Brendan Donovan. He eventually got traded to the Mariners. But they did get Caleb Durbin, who was over at third base from the Brewers.
No score, top of the first inning. 1-0 pitch on the way to Wisely. Liner down the right field line, hooked foul. And a 1-1 count on Brett Wisely. Talking about Gray, making his third start of the spring. He's pitched 5 1/3 spring training innings, giving up 4 runs on 6 hits. Last year, made 32 starts with the Cardinals. He went 14-8 with a 4.28 ERA, and believe it or not, the 14 wins tied his career high that he set in 2014 and 2015. 1-1 pitch on the way, a little bit low and inside, 2-1. Altogether, 13 seasons in the big leagues for Sonny Gray, 3 times an All-Star. He's been with the A's, the Reds, the Twins, the Yankees, and the Cardinals, and he's won 125 games in his career. Now he brings his back to the Red Sox and joining their ball club. 2-1 pitch on the way. Hooked down the right field line. That'll be a fair ball that one hops against the wall and then kind of bounces around the warning track. That'll be an easy double out of Wisely. That was tricky for Nate Eaton, the right fielder. Coming off the bounce, it looked like it might clear the wall for a ground rule double. Instead, hit the railing, came back into play, and shot right by the right fielder.
You mentioned it, the exact dimensions that you get at Fenway Park in Boston, they have here in Fort Myers, and that right field can be very tricky with how quickly it jets out from the foul pole into the kind of shallow gap, if you will, or directly out, and it was played really well, but a nice job by Brett Wisely to turn that curveball hanging into a double.
Runner at second for Kyle Farmer, looking to make the Braves take the early lead. There's a ball outside. I tell you what, just thinking about right field, I can't imagine there's a more challenging right field for any defender to play across Major League Baseball.
I would agree. You have to be very careful when you go after a ball that is down the line. You got to give yourself some space because of the uniqueness of that angle. You don't get that anywhere else in baseball.
Covering a ton of ground out there. 1-0 pitch. Farmer takes the ball low and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Wind is whipping across the outfield left to right. It's blowing from left field right into that right field corner. Hitters count for Farmer. And the 2-0 pitch. Strike. That time got a sinker over, 2-1.
With the Braves already using and losing one challenge here in the first inning, I think that's going to make everybody else a little hesitant early on to use an ABS challenge.
There's a 2-1 pitch. Ground ball to the right side. That'll advance the runner to third base. Up with it, Marcelo Meyer. Throws over to first base for a 4-3 putout. And to third base, Brett Wisely with 2 down. You know, it's interesting, and this is something that Darren and I were discussing the other day. When it comes to the regular season with the ABS Challenge, I think you're going to see the strategy significantly different than what you're seeing at spring training. But it's almost as if you want to go ahead and use your challenges early just to get the test of it, see what it's like. There's a pitch on the way to Ben Gamble. And
no, I would agree.
Takes the ball inside, just to get a feel of the strike zone.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. Why not go ahead and be aggressive here in spring training, see how it works out? We've seen some ones even there for Mateo. That one was clearly a strike, but he took a chance, and he ends up burning it. But I'm sure Walt Weiss wants the guys to take some chances in spring.
There's a 1-0 pitch. Gamble takes a called strike. You being a former pitcher, if you were pitching with the ABS system, would you want to use the challenge system, or would you leave that in the hands of your catcher?
Of course I'd want to use it, but 100% I should not be trusted, and no pitcher should be trusted to use the ABS challenge system.
Ball to strike on Gamble. Here it is from Gray. Out of miss low, 2 balls and a strike.
My favorite one so far from this spring was Fernando Cruz with the New York Yankees, who's got a lot of movement in his deliveries, all over the place. His head's moving. He challenged a pitch. As he was tapping his head, his catcher was giving him the no sign. It was 3 inches outside. It wasn't even close, and that's why pitchers shouldn't challenge.
2-1. In for a high strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Chris Sale was pretty honest about that, right? Early on in spring training, understanding how pitchers can be emotional. They think every pitch is a strike, and he is committed to never using ABS the whole season.
I don't blame him. That's a wise statement. There's the 2-2 pitch. In for a called third strike. Got him with a sweeper. So Gamble goes down looking. Braves strand a runner at third. For the Braves, no runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Braves nothing, and the Red Sox coming up when we come back.
Did you hear? Frontier is joining Verizon. To celebrate, we're launching our best internet offer ever. For a limited time, get 6 months of lightning-fast 100% fiber internet on us, up to 1 gig, when you bundle Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Visit your local Verizon store or verizon.com/welcome-frontier to switch. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes, at the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today, and let us surprise you.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden Nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, Golden Nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
Introducing the all-new MLB Plus, your ticket to streaming baseball's best. Let's go! Enjoy MLB Network 24/7 with live out-of-market.
Back at JetBlue Park here in Fort Myers on St. Patrick's Day. Great to have you with us. No score into the bottom of the first. Alongside C.J. Nikowski and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick, Ben Ingram here with you. Climbing in for the Red Sox is Masataka Yoshida. First pitch on the way from Reynaldo Lopez, in for a called strike. It'll be Yoshida, Story, and Duran for the Red Sox in the bottom of a scoreless first inning. And getting their first hacks at Reynaldo Lopez, the 32-year-old right-hander. 0-1 pitch, misses a little bit low, 1 ball, 1 strike. For Lopez, this is the first time we've seen him in a Grapefruit League game since March 6th. That was at a game across town against the Twins. He's had a good spring. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Check swing tapper to the third base side of the mound. Backhanding Lopez, spins and fires. Nice play. Not an easy play coming off the third base side of the mound, having to glove it, pivot, and fire to his left. and delivered a strike over there to first base.
If he does not catch that cleanly, it's very likely going to be an infield hit for Yoshida. So you're absolutely right. Great play there against the curveball, which is kind of the third offering that you get from Ronaldo Lopez, and that was a good one.
Well, looking at his numbers this spring, CJ, it would tell you that it's not just fastball and slider that he feels good about, and those are his two best pitches. There's a ball up and in. But you're showing me a 2-0 record, an ERA of 1. He's given up just one run to this point. That tells me everything in the arsenal's been sharp.
We noticed that when he first started in the rotation with the Braves, right? Is that not that he didn't use those top two pitches?
1-0, a fly ball to center field, breaking in a Zokar. He'll slide, and he can't get there. Bounces behind him, backing up the play closely. He'll send it in. It'll be a one-out single. He just kicked up a gigantic divot of outfield grass. Went into a feet-first slide, and he had a giant chunk of grass come up from under him.
Did a nice job of picking up that divot and getting it replaced like anybody would on a good green like they have here at JetBlue. But going back to Ronaldo, we saw that curveball really become prominent for him once he was in the rotation full-time.
Reynaldo checking the runner. Here's Jarren Duran. First pitch to Duran. There's a called strike. Duran had a solid showing in the WBC playing for Team Mexico. Led the league in triples the last couple of seasons. Of course, plays in a ballpark that's conducive for those, and he's got great wheels. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ball high and outside, 1-1.
There's a decent amount of speculation about whether or not Duran was going to be traded this offseason because they were crowded in the outfield in Boston. But he's a good player. You mentioned what he can do with the wheels, and he's a good defender, and he's going to be back in Boston to start the season.
1-1 pitch high and away. I've always liked watching him play. I mean, he seems like an electric player and can do lots of things for you, not only offensively but defensively as well. And he's been a bit of a spark plug for the Red Sox the last few seasons. Batting third today, bottom of the first inning, no score. Trevor Story takes a lead at first base. Righty-lefty matchup, and the pitch on the way to Duran. Reynaldo misses outside with a curveball.
But a lot of off-speed pitches here early on for Ronaldo, and that might be part of it. Again, we talk about velocity with all of these starters, and if we don't see that 97, 98 that we'd see at times, it could be about more off-speed to disguise the fastball.
There's a 3-1 pitch. Missed outside with a fastball coming in at 91. So it's a walk to Duran. Runners at first and second, one down. Bat in the hands of Caleb Durbin now. For Lopez, 9 innings pitched, 1 run allowed. And like CJ mentioned, just the one appearance last season, then had shoulder surgery, but that was coming off a great campaign in 2024. He was an all-star, put up really good numbers, a sub-2 ERA. And altogether, 10 seasons in the big leagues for Lopez. Nationals, White Sox, Angels, Guardians, and Braves. Pitching on a chilly day here in Fort Myers, if you can believe it. Runners at first and second. Pitch on the way to Durbin. There's a called strike. Coming back with a good heater. Lopez looking into Leon. 0-1 pitch. That'll be sent foul, 0-2.
And with the repertoire, because it is mostly that four-seam fastball that you get from Ronaldo, you don't get a lot of ground balls. The ground ball rate for him, obviously last year just one game, but even in 24, a little bit below league average. But he did have a knack for getting the double play. 14 of those 2 seasons ago.
He'd love one of those right here. Ready with the 0-2 pitch. Checking the runner at second. 0-2 to the plate. Check swing. He did go. But the fastball on the top shelf got to commit on the swing, and 2 down.
And reaching back for a little more there at 94 miles an hour.
I want to go back to the point about double plays. For Reynaldo Lopez, if he's getting a high amount of double plays, is he typically doing it with the slider or a variety of pitches?
So the slider far and away is his best ground ball pitch. You go back to, again, the last 2 years, 56%. That is well above league average. You didn't really get ground balls with the fastball or the curveball. And so it's a matter of picking your spots. If you think you have a guy that is a good double play candidate and maybe trying to use that slider to keep the baseball on the ground early in the count.
First pitch missed outside to Meyer. 1 ball and no strikes. Out of the stretch, right at the belt. 1-0 to the plate. Right through the back door with a good slider. 1-1. If Meyer reaches, Rafaela would come to the plate. One. Big wave and a miss. Curveball that time. So here in the first inning, Lopez breaking out the entire catalog and looking for one more strike to get through this jam. Duran at first, Story at second, 2 down and a 1-2 count on Marcelo Meyer, left-handed hitting second baseman. Now time called as Meyer backs out of there, adjusts his all-white batting gloves, and digs back in. Lopez kicks and fires. Missed outside with a change.
Again, giving you an idea of where Ronaldo is. The other part of it, too, is that he has seen 3 left-handed hitters now in this inning, all the lefties near the top of the order. They got to his fastball 2 years ago when he was pitching a full season. 323 was the batting average against the Ronaldo Lopez four-seam fastball.
2-2 in the air, deep down the left field line, slicing towards foul territory. That's how to play.
Right, there's a fastball. It's actually hit pretty well. So for me, again, it's more about the strategy. Yeah, the velocity's down a tick or two, but I think also the way that he approaches these left-handed hitters, which is going to be with a little bit more of the off-speed and picking his spots of trying to disguise that fastball maybe ahead in the count in one location.
Ready with his 2-2 pitch. He cuts it loose. Softly tapped up the first base line and foul. Went with his curveball there. So if he's having success against left-handed hitters, that tells you a good thing about his changeup and curveball.
Especially even the fact that he threw his changeup there, right? It wasn't a pitch that he has used very often. He kind of threw it looking for a little bit of a chase away to lefties, the way that Ronaldo throws. That's probably the only hitter he's going to use his changeup against. You really won't see it against the righties very often, understandably so. But it may be a pitch that becomes a little bit more important for him. Again, if the velo is going to be down as you elevate your secondaries, it's the curveball and maybe a few more of the changeups this year.
Count at 2-2 on Meyer. Lopez ready. Check with the runner at second. Kicks and fires. 2-2. Swung on a miss at a curve. That was a soap bubble curveball floating in there at 72 miles an hour. And it gets the strikeout to put an end to the bottom of the first inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the top of the second. No score.
Frontier is joining Verizon. New Frontier and Verizon customers can get 6 months of 100% fiber internet on us up to 1 gig by bundling Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Plus, get 2 mobile lines for $50 per month on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store to switch. $25 per line after $60 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, golden nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
Want a game-changing way to watch college basketball? With a one-day pass from Sling, get instant access to the men's and women's tournaments starting at just $4.99. You can catch all the action on TNT, TBS, ESPN, and ESPN2. Want even more hoops? Then add an extra pack to your subscription for just $1. No overpaying, no overcommitting, just tournaments so crazy they'd be crazy to miss. Visit sling.com to learn more. Sling lets you do that.
ESPN is now the home of MLB.TV.
Rolling into the top of the second inning here at Fort Myers. No score. Braves and Red Sox. Alongside C.J. Nikowski, Ben Ingram here with you for Grapefruit League game number 24 for the Braves. 6 left to be played after today. We are 10 days from opening day, as that is coming up a week from this Friday. Leading it off for the Braves here in the top of the second, Jair Camargo. Pitch on the way from Sonny Gray, and he just missed with a first pitch cutter. 1 ball and no strikes on Camargo. He'll be followed by Luke Williams and Sandy Leone. Sonny Gray gave up a double to Brett Wisely in the first inning, but that's it. 1-0 pitch in for a called strike, 1-1. As far as the rest of spring goes, you have a few more TV assignments left, right?
2 more, yeah. We have 2 more games. Wednesday and Friday will be the final 2 television games that we have for Braves Vision. We'll take that final week off and get ready for opening day against the Kansas City Royals.
1-1 is low, 2-1. It is right around the corner, man.
Yeah, you absolutely grind it. When you start thinking about the amount of games you do, we feel We feel like doing 13 is a lot, and I know you just snicker at that. I say 13. I'd love to do just 13. That's a vacation in spring.
Yeah, 2-1 cent foul. It's something that Jay Chad and I laugh about every year. We'll get back up to Atlanta. It'll be opening day, and folks will come to us and say, all right, you ready? I'm like, ready? Been doing this for 6 weeks.
Mid-season form.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Jair Camargo. Two on the way. Camargo sends 1 foul.
Did you count up total games in the World Series year? I remember Steve Sparks, who does radio for the Houston Astros, had done every spring training game, every regular season game. He said he was up over 200 games for the year, if you call them all. Does that sound about right?
Pretty close, yeah.
207, says Jay Chad.
207. 2-2 in the air to center field. Coming in, Rafaela. He dives and makes a spectacular catch. He got a really good break on that ball, sprinting straight in, and went into a full head-first dive and snagged it right above the top of the grass. Nice play.
He got a special one in center field here in Boston. They also believe, if needed, he could play the infield, which you have seen. When you see this kind of defense out in center, and obviously Gold Glove caliber, you're going to leave him right there, and what is also a tough center field to play in Boston.
I think about the uniqueness of playing defense for the Red Sox with the individual positions. There's the pitch on the way to Luke Williams. There's a called strike, because you'd make the difference, or you'd make the indication. We said this earlier about how right field is obviously different from any other right field in the league. You'd say the same thing about center and left. Playing the wall in left field, how deep it can be back to your left and center field. Swing and a miss by Williams. You'd say the same thing for the left side of the infield, because you could have a ball that caroms off the sidewall, or that bounces off of the monster and shoots back, that you got to go back and make a play on. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. That misses low and inside.
You cannot afford to have guys that can't adjust, right? You think about what a standard field looks like, what a standard position plays like. It is not going to be the case at Fenway Park. And so you need guys to be able to understand that and adjust accordingly, or it's going to show up and it's going to hurt you in a big way.
1-2 pitch. That'll miss low. So in other words, if you're let's say a shortstop or a center fielder for the Red Sox, you could make the case that you're playing a slightly different version of your position, home versus road, depending on the different ballpark that you're in, because everything's going to be significantly different dimensions-wise from Fenway.
Yeah, ground ball down the left field line, you got to start actually busting it toward the line in case that ball kicks back. Same thing with the ball off the wall if the center fielder can't get there in time to back up your left fielder.
2-2 low and outside, 3-2.
That's a big one for the center fielder. He's got to be over in left field on every single fly ball. If you're not, and all of a sudden the ball goes off the wall, it's going to be at least 3.
No score, top of the second. 3-2 pitch. And Luke Williams takes a fastball low and outside for ball 4. You know, it's similar to a pitcher pitching for the Rockies. I was having a conversation with Tyler Kinley earlier this spring about the differences in pitching home and road when you're a pitcher for the Rockies, and how you really have to overcompensate at home to make the ball do anything, and then you do that same motion on the road, and your stuff's is breaking way too hard and too far outside the zone. There's a pitch on the way. Ball low and inside to Sandy Leon.
The hitters will tell you the same thing, right? As they're facing opposing pitchers, and fastballs that they may see, say, up in the zone at home are not going to look the same way in Cincinnati. And they actually tried to adjust by using different pitching machines on the road so that guys could see when they were away from elevation what they should expect those pitches to look like.
1-0 misses low and inside. 2-0. That'll draw out Carlos Narvaez for a visit to the mound.
But it was clear, I think, in the case of Tyler Kinley and what we saw, and just like Pierce Johnson when he came over from Colorado, the slider usage jumps up considerably because that slider plays better when you're away from Colorado, and both of those guys have had tremendous success away from Colorado because of it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Major differences, ballpark to ballpark. Alongside C.J. Nikowski, Ben Ingram here with you at JetBlue Park here in Fort Myers. Spring training home of the Red Sox. They've been training here for a long time. This stadium opened in 2012. Prior there at City of Palms Park, which isn't too far away from where we currently are. This is a beautiful facility here in Fort Myers. 2 balls and no strikes on Leon. Former Red Sox catcher, now the Braves, swings and misses at a fastball. Wind continues to blow in from left field. Got a big crowd today, as we typically do here at Fort Myers, but everybody in jackets and sleeves, hoodies. 2-1 pitch. Misses high. 3 balls and a strike.
I'd have to find out how many tickets Tommy Watkins left today. Known as the mayor of Fort Myers. That name was given to him by Torrey Hunter. He jokes about it, but the guy was from the area, still has lots of family here. It could have been a deep pass list for him this afternoon.
There's no doubt about it. 3-1 pitch. Low ball 4. Back-to-back walks allowed by Gray. And the Braves have runners at first and second. 1 down for Patrick Clohessy.
Not typical at all of Sonny Gray. Last year, 32 starts. He had a 5% walk rate. League average is 8.5%. This is a guy who's always filled up the zone with consistency. To see him going up against mostly minor league players here today for the Braves, although it is Luke Williams and Sandy Leone, a couple of big leaguers. Surprised to see 2 walks like that from him.
Now facing Patrick Clohessy, who bats 8th, righty-lefty matchup. Clohessy punches one out to second, taken on a bounce by Meyer. To second, they get 1. Story to first base, close play, got him. And Sonny Gray, with 1 well-executed pitch, gets out of the jam. A 4-6-3 double play helps him get around those 2 walks. We go to the bottom of the second. No score in Fort Myers.
Frontier is joining Verizon. New Frontier and Verizon customers can get 6 months of 100% fiber internet on us up to 1 gig by bundling Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Plus, get 2 mobile lines for $50 per month on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store to switch. $25 per line after $60 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, golden nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
Want a game-changing way to watch college basketball? With a one-day pass from Sling, get instant access to the men's and women's tournaments starting at just $4.99. You can catch all the action on TNT, TBS, ESPN, and ESPN2. Want even more hoops? Then add an extra pack to your subscription for just $1. No overpaying, no overcommitting, just tournaments so crazy they'd be crazy to miss. Visit sling.com to learn more. Sling lets you do that.
Introducing the all-new MLB Plus, your ticket to streaming baseball's best. Enjoy MLB Network 24/7 with live out-of-market games and award-winning shows. Enhance game nights with MLB Big Inning, live and commercial-free. And hear live home and away radio broadcasts of every game, blackout-free. Even stream minor league games all season. It's all here and it's all new. Get MLB Plus for just $59.99 a year. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus.
Red Sox. And speaking of winning, the Braves have been doing a lot of that here in spring training. They have the best record of any team in Major League Baseball across the spring session. If that means anything to you, it's fun to have a good little stretch going down here and get some positive momentum for opening day. Rafaela leads off versus Lopez. First pitch, low and outside with a curve.
The great Joe Castiglione is here today. We had a chance to talk with him. He came in just before the game started, and he said, "Are you guys trying to win? Is Walt like trying to win all these games? Is that important to him?" I said, "Well, winning's better than losing."
Yeah, it is. I love seeing Joe. Here's a 1-0 pitch. There's a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He did say, because he's like, well, usually, of course, it's not really indicative of anything, but when the Red Sox won in 2018, he said they did have the best record in spring training.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I noticed something from last year. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Called strike. You know who had the best record in the Grapefruit League a year ago?
Tell me it was the Rockies.
It's the Toronto
Grapefruit League. I'm sorry.
Grapefruit
I think going to say all spring training.
The Toronto Blue Jays.
Really? All right.
And went out and won the American League pennant.
No.
I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. Everybody feels better seeing more wins than losses.
Here's the 1-2. That's high. Now the team right behind the Braves in the, if you want to call it the Grapefruit League standings, the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're looking for optimism of any kind.
It could be a little bit of a surprise team. I was very surprised to see actually that Fangraphs picked them to be a second-place team.
Really? 2-2 is low, 3-2. That'd be a huge jump.
That might be a little ambitious, but they did have a pretty good offseason, and they have really good pitching led by Paul Skeen. So could they find a way to hang in there in the National League Central? Maybe.
They finish in second place. They might have a parade. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Rafaela takes a called third strike. Good location with that fastball. Rafaela just standing there completely puzzled by the call of Brian Onora. Reluctantly walks back to the third base dugout. 3 straight strikeouts for Lopez.
This is what I love about ABS, right? Because if you're a home plate umpire, and as you mentioned, Rafaela's kind of standing there for a little while, just challenge it. If you don't like it, challenge it. Otherwise, move on.
1 down for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He'll take a ball inside. Just looking at the Cactus League standings, Giants and Dodgers both have 16 wins, but more losses than the Braves. 1-0 pitch from Lopez. Fouled off into the screen, 1-1.
The Giants may need that affirmation a little bit more than the Los Angeles Dodgers do, as they're going to try to compete in that National League West. Going to be tough to do. The Dodgers reloading again, spending the most money in free agency, limited players, but Edwin Diaz, Kyle Tucker.
1-1 curve. That's caught a ball to be challenged by Sandy Leon. Looked like a good pitch. And the video board here, JetBlue Park out in right center field. Braves challenging this pitch, and let's wait for the result. It is a strike. That'll be overturned. Good eyes by Sandy Leon. That entire baseball was in the zone.
And here's where I think it's going to help out. That's a curveball at the very top of the zone. If you think about what that looks like when you're watching a game on television, it does probably look like a ball, but these guys are getting a much better feel for ABS and how to use it.
1-2 pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to right field. Clohessy to his left. He dives and he's got it. Wonderful play by Patrick Clohessy. Sprinting to his left, the wind pushing it away from him. And he went into a head-first dive to his left to squeeze it. Great defense. 2 down.
And remember the play, was it yesterday that he made in right field as well? I mean, showing off the glove and doing a really nice job. When you're a minor leaguer, you get to play in a big league game. You want to make an impression, and he certainly has done that with the glove this spring.
2 down in the inning. Ground ball foul outside the bag at third. It's something that Darren and I have brought up the last few days about how impressive the Braves defense has been, not just from the major league regulars, but throughout games. You get into the 7th, 8th, 9th innings of games, and you're seeing guys who will start the season in the minor leagues, and they haven't lost any of the slack as well. They've been terrific defensively.
Big part, I think, of why the record is where it's at. They've also put up a bunch of runs late in games.
Sure have. That's a big reason for that record. 0-1 pitch. In for a called strike. 0-2. Reynaldo Lopez in search of a 1-2-3 bottom of the second. The righty's 0-2 on the way. Missed a little bit down with a slider. This might be a conversation that we need to continue into the 3rd inning. But talking about the ABS system, I just can't wait to see the metrics on it over the course of a full season. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Top shelf fastball. That looked good. Hummed in there at 94, and Lopez has found his groove. It's a 1-2-3 bottom of the second. He has 4 strikeouts in the game. We go to the top of the 3rd. No score.
Did you hear? Frontier is joining Verizon. To celebrate, we're launching our best internet offer ever. For a limited time, get 6 months of lightning-fast 100% fiber internet on us, up to 1 gig, when you bundle Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Visit your local Verizon store or verizon.com/welcome-frontier to switch. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, golden nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
Want a game-changing way to watch college basketball? With a one-day pass from Sling, get instant access to the men's and women's tournaments starting at just $4.99. You can catch all the action on TNT, TBS, ESPN, and ESPN2. Want even more hoops? Then add an extra pack to your subscription for just $1. No overpaying, no overcommitting, just tournaments so crazy they'd be crazy to miss. Visit sling.com to learn more. Sling lets you do that.
It's finally here. Baseball's best step back between the lines.
Paul schemes.
And all eyes are on opening week on MLB Network with live games all week.
It is gone.
Live look-ins every night and post-game reactions from the biggest stars on MLB Tonight.
Good to get that win today, but got to keep going.
It's showtime on the home of baseball. Opening week on MLB Network, presented by Adobe. Coverage begins March 25th.
What pitch and where in the zone is being challenged with success the most? And you said something that really made a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense if we got it into the season, and that high strike, that high breaking ball, landing across the top of the zone could be one that's challenged and challenged successfully more times than not.
I think it's the breaking ball actually both at the top and the bottom based on what we've seen so far this spring.
Jose Azocar takes the ball high.
Because there's also been some curveballs at the bottom of the zone that look like strikes on television that we have seen catchers challenge, and they've been getting it right. And obviously, we saw a big one at the end of the semifinal in the Team USA game in the WBC that might look like a strike but finishes well below.
Ball low and outside, 2-0.
And so those are the two pitches for me. Breaking balls at the very top, breaking balls at the very bottom, where everybody's going to have to adjust their eyes a little bit to what we were so used to seeing all these years.
Yeah, that's a great point. 2 balls and no strikes on a Azocar. Here it is from Sonny Gray. That misses low. Check swing. He didn't go. Because you put yourself in the shoes of a home plate umpire. And you think about a big looping curveball that most of the way looks like it's way too high. In the last second, it just drops right in.
And the big change there is also going to be, as we got a little timeout here for our home plate umpire, I think, is where it's measured with ABS is actually in the very middle of the plate. Right, 8.5 inches from the front, 8.5 inches from the back, where we used to look at it as it would be the front of the plate. And that's why you got to adjust your eyes here.
Speaking of adjusting, all the umpires are coming together, and they're going to take Brian O'Nora out of the game.
Ooh.
Well, he called time, and he started coughing, it appeared. And now he's leaving the field. One of the Red Sox trainers is walking alongside of him. He was ready to go back to work, and third base umpire Clint Vondrack pointed right at him and said, nope, let's get you out of here.
I wonder if they knew something was going on maybe ahead of time, and he was trying to, we'll call it, play through it today. Because whoever's going to go behind the plate has already left the field before him to go put the home plate umpire gear on.
I'm not sure if he's been battling illness. But I believe Clint Vondrack will be the new home plate umpire. Well, and we had not seen, of course, we're up here in the booth. We don't know what's happening on the field over the course of the game. But Brian O'Nora, at one point, I couldn't tell if he coughed or sneezed.
So it looked like, one of those two.
And so maybe he's got a fever and feeling ill. Not really sure, but he's going to leave the game.
Well, immediately, right, you see an umpire step in because they were aware of any kind of pre-existing condition from today that led him to say, nope, absolutely not. We appreciate you battling through it, but let's go ahead and make the change now so you don't have to do this. So it'll be a little while. These take a little time, so that means more ABS talk. Going back to, just for people trying to picture it again, and this was my concern when we had this conversation 10 years ago. I hated the idea of ABS, and I said, you know where it's really going to mess people up? It's going to be the breaking balls. And I used the big Clayton Kershaw curveball as an example. If you think about the front of the plate, and that ball just nicking the very bottom of the zone, it would finish in the dirt. And it would be called a strike, and people would lose their minds. And I think MLB realized that with all their testing in the minor leagues, and so they slid where ABS is to the middle of the plate, I think, to kind of counteract that. So, again, there's adjustments for everybody. That was the real concern. They knew it. They did a great job of figuring that out and adjusting accordingly.
Let me ask you a question that might be impossible to answer, but just humor me here. When we have nuances in the game, we make adjustments, we kind of get a sample size for a year, and then they may say, okay, well, this part about that needs to be changed. Similar to maybe the pitch timer or things like that. We're going to have an evolution of it.
Mound visits came down by 1, right? Those kind of things.
Exactly. What kind of changes in the ABS system could you foresee in the future after just the little sample size that we got in spring training?
I actually hope more challenges. Right, because I hate the idea of running out of challenges, to be honest with you. I thought when they went through this and we saw how fast it is, 13, 14 seconds on average, like, what's wrong with 5? We just want them right.
Right.
And what about maybe, I know they said extra innings you'll get one, maybe an automatic one in the 9th inning, too. If you want to keep it at 2, and keep it at 2, maybe innings 1 through 8. And then everyone has one in the 9th. Because of what happened in the WBC, we never want to see that happen. We want things to end on merit the way they probably should. And so for me, that could be one. We'll see what happens with the strike zone itself. But I think they ran through a lot of tests in the minor leagues for a couple of years to get that part where they're confident. I think this will be, for me, a little bit more about maybe the number of challenges could be where we see an adjustment.
I could see that as well. And I kind of like that idea of this amount of challenges for 8 innings, and no matter what happens, you have one for the 9th, just in case. Well, Clint Bondrak has taken over behind the plate.
That was record. I mean, they did a little Superman into the booth and changed quickly and right back out. I thought we were looking at 10 minutes.
We are scoreless, and we're in the top of the 3rd inning. 3-0 pitch, and there's ball 4. So the leadoff man is aboard. That's a pretty tough challenge for Sonny Gray to have a 3-0 count, wait around for 7-8 minutes, then throw a pitch, and he loses a Zokar. So back to the top of the order after the walk. We've got a 3-man crew now. So Brian O'Nora is out of there. We believe that he was battling an illness, and he was behind the plate, so he's gone now. Here's Jorge Mateo. He shows bunt, pulls back, takes a called strike.
And this is another place where ABS kind of does a really nice job of changing things, right? You change umpires in the middle of the game. We know umpires have different zones. Well, ABS will now correct that. It's not as if Sonny Gray is going to have to adjust to a new umpire zones.
0-1 from Gray. Ball low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for both teams. Braves and Red Sox from JetBlue Park in Fort Myers. For the Braves, a little bit over an hour south of where we have spring camp in Northport. Maybe an hour, 15 minutes or so. Pick off to first base, back on the dive of Zokar. Fort Myers with 2 spring training teams, the Red Sox and the Twins. We'll see the Twins again coming up over the course of this weekend.
And travel not too bad this spring training compared to last year having to go over to the East Coast.
Yeah, it's been a really good spring for travel. Here's a 1-1. Low and outside, 2-1.
I say that as a guy doing my first road game this year. It seems like it's been pretty easy, is it not?
Comparatively, yes. I mean, it's still not easy, but compared to how it could be, and you nailed it with no East Coast trip. There's the 2-1 on the way to Mateo. He'll ground one out towards short, deep in the hole. Diving stop by Durbin, knocked it down. The ball rolls free, running around second base and then to third base is Zokar. And 2 bags for Jorge Mateo. If he had to do it again, he might have let Story try to backhand it short. But that was in the hole, and Durbin diving left, got leather on it. The ball just trickled into the outfield.
He is a plus defender over there at third base, and he very much is very likely going to be their opening day third baseman. And you're absolutely right. And instincts take over, and you try to dive for it. It was really good base running by Jorge Mateo, who we know is fast, because basically your second baseman went to go down, chase that ball down, so second base was available. And excellent base running by the Braves, which has kind of been the case all spring.
Now second and third, no one out. Bat in the hands of Brett Wisely. He'll take a first pitch strike. Wisely with a double in the first inning. He does that here. The Braves will be on the board not with just 1 but 2 runs. No runs on 2 hits for the Braves. No runs, 1 hit for the Red Sox. 0-1 check swing. It bounces by the catcher Narvaez, but the runners hold. Runner at third base is Zokar. Came about 12 feet off the bag and then hit the brakes.
Went bouncing in the dirt. Very surprising to see again Sonny Gray struggle with the command that he is, the way he is so far here this afternoon. That is not his game.
His command has not been sharp here in the last inning and a half. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Just missed there with a fastball. A walk and a double. And the Braves have him at second and third. Right-hander Gray set right at the belly. 2-1 pitch on the way. Ground ball left side. This will drive in a run. Backhanding it Story. He has to eat it. Everybody's safe. Runners at the corners. And it's 1-0 Braves. Just cued out there to short. He had to charge hard to his right. Deep into the hole and lunges to get leather on it. And Wisely with the RBI and an infield base hit, make it 1-0 Braves.
Turning into one of those innings for Sonny Gray. It was a good pitch. It sounded like maybe Wisely broke his bat on it, got weak contact, but in a good spot to turn into an RBI single. So just when he gets back in the zone, he can't catch a break.
Cashing in a walk. Here's Kyle Farmer. Big hole on the right side of the infield. There goes Wisely. Pitches a ball. Throw down to second base, and they got him by a mile. Narvaez put that one right on the bag, and the tag made by Marcelo Meyer. And there's the first out of the inning, and one of the few times the Braves have been caught stealing this spring.
Well, Narvaez really has emerged as the everyday guy and did a nice job last year for the Boston Red Sox, and this one was not even close.
So the infield in now, 1 down, 1-0 pitch. Little lob shot into right field for a base hit. Coming in to score Jorge Mateo, and it's 2-0 Braves. Kyle Farmer just serving it softly over the infield and into shallow right field. Rakes in the RBI and a 2-run inning for Atlanta.
He does it against the cutter here. And the other part of what we've seen, I think, this spring from the Braves is a lot of contact. We've seen games where these kinds of things have happened where guys are putting the ball in play. Yeah, the big boys have been swinging it really well, but it's kind of some of the secondary guys have been having good at-bats and putting pressure on the defense, and we're seeing it here today again.
Only 1 out. Ben Gamble takes a called strike. Braves leading 2-0. Great to have you aboard with us. Top of the 3rd inning here at JetBlue Park. 0-1 pitch. 0-1 swung on a miss by Gamble.
So this situation doesn't really call for it, but I am kind of curious. Of course, we know for the Braves under Snit for years, the bunt wasn't really a big part of what they do. We'll be curious to see maybe where Walt is on that and how much they may want to use that, especially with some of the guys at the bottom of the order.
There's the 0-2. Swung on, missed. Got Gamble with a changeup. Gray has 2 strikeouts, both of them into Gamble. It's interesting to think about because, well, we've known Walt for the longest time. It's the first time where it's his team. And there will be undoubtedly an identity, a new identity of some degree that comes with that.
Yeah, and I think the way things have gone this spring, it doesn't feel like it's a lineup that would have to bunt very much, but you just wonder when those opportunities are there if he's in favor of it.
Jair Camargo taps one foul on the third base line. Well, one thing is for certain. We've seen this team running a lot this spring. Batting average as a team has been up from last year during spring training. Likewise, slugging. And they've been running a lot more and have had some success on the base paths. 0-1 fouled off, 0-2.
Well, whatever it is that Antoine Richardson is bringing to the table, right? He's talked about it, and it's big changes, but little things that maybe you're looking for, whether it's in your lead or what you're seeing from a pitcher. Just like we talk about with pitchers. Well, I'm trying this new 2-seamer. I'm trying this new cutter. Let me try this new jump and see how it actually plays in a game. And so we have seen the team be a little bit more aggressive with the tutelage of Antoine.
0-2, reach and a miss by Camargo. Sweeper strikes him out. And that ends the top of the 3rd inning. But the Braves scored 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, 2-0 Atlanta.
Spring is in the air, Braves fans. As the Braves get Truist Park ready for opening day, it's time to get your lawn in shape, too. As the official partner of the Atlanta Braves grounds crew, Pennington knows what it takes to grow a lush, healthy lawn. With over 80 years of history rooted right here in Braves country, Pennington helps you grow a yard you can be proud of. Gear up for spring with Pennington Grass Seed. Available at the Home Depot.
This spring and summer, the world's biggest names in soccer are coming to downtown Atlanta. Stay where the city gathers at Omni Atlanta Hotel at Centennial Park, just steps away from Mercedes-Benz Stadium and State Farm Arena. Skip the traffic when you stay with easy access to dining, entertainment, and the energy of Centennial Yards District. Book now and take advantage of special seasonal offers now before it's too late. Plan your spring and summer staycation at omnihotels.com/Atlanta.
Imagine parking your Lexus NX in front of a cafe, but you're not in the driver's seat. You're outside, virtually parking it with your phone. As your finger glides over the touchscreen, the NX makes another precision move. The Lexus NX, featuring available advanced park with remote park. Any car that doesn't offer this sense of control is a car that stops short of amazing. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Always pay attention to vehicle surroundings during use. Remote park requires operator to have key fob and interact with compatible smartphone. Review owner's manual instructions before operating.
The Braves have over 20 gate giveaways this season, from bobbleheads to wearables. See them all at Braves.com/promos.
With the Braves leading 2-0, we go to the bottom of the third inning before the Red Sox come to the plate here in the third. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Atlanta Braves spring training is live on WIFN Atlanta, a Dickey broadcasting station, 1340 and 103.7 FM.
Alongside C.J. Nikowski and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick, Ben Ingram here with you. For the Braves, a couple of base hits in the third inning, one from Wisely, one from Farmer, producing runs. And now Reynaldo Lopez, who has really gotten on a good groove lately, goes back to work, pumps in a called strike on the leadoff man, Nate Eaton. 9-1-2 for the Red Sox in their order here in the bottom of the third. Lopez brings it, swing and a miss on a changeup. Lopez has 4 strikeouts of the last 5 batters he's faced. I mean, he's really had his stuff in tune here in the last inning or so. Worked around a single and a walk in the first inning. It's ball low and outside, and bounced back with back-to-back strikeouts of Durbin and Meyer, and then struck out Rafaela and Narvaez in the second inning. He's looking for another swing and miss right here. Long pause and the 1-2 to Eaton. And he strokes it in the air to center field. Right in line with it, Jose Azocar. Shuffles left, makes the catch, and 1 down.
And he finished there with the fastball. The changeup right and right that we saw earlier in that at-bat catches my attention again, because he did not do that very often 2 years ago in his full season. Now what we watch for, second time around to these lefties, we're going to see a bunch of curveballs again like we did the first time against those left-handed hitters.
1 trip to the order. He's given up just the 1 hit. There's Masataka Yoshida. There's a ball low and inside. They're going to challenge this. Leon thought that was a strike. Now Clint Vondrack has to adjust his microphone. Waiting on the challenge replay. Here it comes, and that is a strike.
And not particularly close. I mean, that had a lot of the plate.
Both times when Clint Vondrack tried to turn on his microphone, he was getting all sorts of feedback. I just said, forget it. You saw it on the video board.
You know what I want.
I just want 1 pitch. It's ball low and outside, 1-1. Masataka Yoshida 0 for 1 with a tap out to the mound back in the first inning. 1-1. Slapped down the third baseline foul. 1-2. What are your thoughts on the WBC championship tonight?
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's interesting to listen to Braves fans talk about it and get caught in between a little bit on rooting for Ronald to have a big night and at the same time wanting Team USA, of course, to win as well. But it's been another really good tournament. It was interesting to watch. Italy almost upset Team Venezuela yesterday. That would have been pretty incredible, or as some people know them, Team New Jersey.
Had to be fouled off. All your buddies.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's, and it's good. We joke about it. There's not a lot of Italian-born players, but ultimately, I think really good for the game, and certainly they've captured the attention of Italian baseball fans and maybe some that weren't baseball fans.
Yeah, that was really exciting. Championship tonight, Venezuela and the United States. 1-2 bounced up there, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Is it Logan Webb who's pitching tonight for the States? Do you know?
I think it's McLean.
Oh, that's right. Nolan McLean pitching. I don't know if we know who's going for Venezuela. They wanted Jesus Luzardo. The Phillies said no.
There's the 2-2. Popped up on the infield, looking skyward, Jorge Mateo, and he just about collides with second baseman Brett Wisely, and on the right side of the infield makes the catch. It'll be Eduardo Rodriguez.
That'd be a good little matchup. McLean, as much as he was solid, then got excited about his first inning in his last start, then he ran into a bunch of trouble, let up a couple of homers in his second inning, though. That guy's the real deal. He's going to be a problem for Braves fans for a long time.
So, in other words, it's the Tigers and the Phillies getting in the way of it being Skubal versus Luzardo for the championship tonight.
It's a tough place to be. I get it.
There's a called strike on Trevor Story, because both those pitchers, I'm sure, would love to take the ball tonight.
Yeah, that would have been a great matchup. And listen, Nolan McLean's a good option as well. But I think for Team Venezuela in particular, Luzardo, who just signed that contract extension with the Phillies, that would have been a nice add.
0-1 pitch. Missed a little bit high with a fastball. It's been a thrilling WBC, and I'm sure we'll have a really good finale tonight. That'll be an 8 p.m. first pitch tonight from Miami. 1-1 from Reynaldo Lopez. Missed low with a curveball, 2 balls and a strike.
Our very own Wiley Ballard will be there. He took the 3-hour drive down to Miami just to watch the game and crash with some buddies.
He's the USA good luck charm after what happened in the Olympics. He was there for the hockey game.
What a tough life for Wiley. Over in Milan.
2-1 fouled off.
Watching the Olympics. He skied about 30 times this winter. He's living his best life right now.
I like that. That's great. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs on Trevor Story. If the United States wins that thing tonight, here's the 2-2 pitch on the way from Lopez. There's a ball low. How many people do you think were present for the gold medal hockey game and the WBC game?
That's a great question.
I mean, you got to be fewer than 20 people.
Yeah, I was going to say less than 10, but we only know one. I guess it depends on if Wiley's buddy was also there with him.
True. 3-2 is fouled off. There can be many.
No.
I mean, you've got to be a globetrotter to do something like that.
And the Olympic tickets, his brother had gotten in a lottery. His brother lives, I believe it's in Switzerland. He's a mathematician. Sounds super smart.
3-2 pitch and a fly ball hanging high to deep center. Going back with urgency of Zokar. It twists around, spins back behind him, bounces up against the center field wall. Story around second. Braves just now hit the cutoff man. It's a stand-up triple by Story as he just shocked one to the deepest part of the yard. And on a day where the wind is howling in from left center, really tough challenge for a Zokar or anyone who would be tracking that one.
Yeah, he got turned around a little bit. We saw this yesterday over at Cool Today where there were some issues in right center field where the ball was getting blown the other way. This one gets blown towards right field, and Zokar can't get there. And again, with this ballpark and the weird dimensions, there could be some triples that pop up on you, and that's a good place to go to find one.
Kyle Nelson now tossing for the Braves in the bullpen. Runner at third, 2 down for Jarren Duran. First pitch swinging, cuts it loose and misses a changeup.
So Wiley said, by the way, to finish that real quick, they go into a lottery for those tickets. You don't get a seat. You just get into, they assign the seats afterwards. He was upper deck for the semis, but then for the gold medal round, ended up being second row.
A 1 slap foul. Boy, you want to talk about a stroke of luck.
Yeah. Stay hot, Wiley.
Well, I wonder where his seats are tonight.
So he said he wished they had bought their tickets after Japan that got eliminated because I think the prices went down a little bit, but I don't know. I think he's just happy to be in the building.
Yeah, that'll be great. It's funny to think about not being able to sit wherever you want to in a game in that ballpark, given what we're used to seeing in the regular season. 0-2 to Duran. Missed outside 1 and 2. I mean, when we play the Marlins in the regular season, it's very rare that the upper deck is even open.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what my son said to me the other day. He said, can't even go up there in the upper deck, and now there's not a seat to be had. Been a great atmosphere there.
Yes, it has. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And there's a called third strike. Backdoor curveball stuns Duran. Excellent pitch by Lopez. And pitches around that 2-out triple. He has 5 strikeouts in the game. We go to the top of the 4th. 2-0 Braves.
Frontier is joining Verizon. New Frontier and Verizon customers can get 6 months of 100% fiber internet on us up to 1 gig by bundling Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Plus, get 2 mobile lines for $50 per month on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store to switch. $25 per line after $60 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply.
Want a game-changing way to watch college basketball? With a one-day pass from Sling, get instant access to the men's and women's tournaments starting at just $4.99. You can catch all the action on TNT, TBS, ESPN, and ESPN2. Want even more hoops? Then add an extra pack to your subscription for just $1. No overpaying, no overcommitting, just tournaments so crazy they'd be crazy to miss. Visit sling.com to learn more. Sling lets you do that.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden Nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, Golden Nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
It's finally here. Baseball's best step back between the lines.
Tall schemes.
And all eyes are on opening week on MLB Network with live games all week.
It is gone.
Live look-ins every night and post-game reactions from the biggest stars on MLB Tonight.
Good to get that win today, but got to keep going.
It's showtime on the home of baseball. Opening week on MLB Network, presented by Adobe. Coverage begins March 25th.
So, I forgot about the radio pace. I know I've talked over a couple pitches. You can't do that. And so the last time I did a radio play-by-play game, gosh, it might have been like 2014.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a decade or so.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the first game I did not have to do color. First game I ever did was with John Sterling.
Oh, nice.
And I filled into the New York Yankee game.
Curveball misses inside, 1-1 on Luke Williams.
And Michael Kay said to me, listen, with John, he's very particular that his analyst does not say a word while the pitcher is looking in for the sign.
1-1 pitch. Let him miss low.
I said, all right, I was scared, super nervous, right? It's my first year in broadcasting. I'm doing a game with John Sterling, right?
So not when he's going to the plate.
Yeah. He wants when he's locked in. He's like, if he comes set and you're still talking, it's not going to go well. Like, all right. So I'm all locked in. All right, not going to do it.
2-1 pitch. That's in for a strike.
About the fourth inning, takes his headset off in the commercial break. CJ, I need you to get out a little bit quicker, please. You're cutting a little bit close. I'm like, oh, sorry. Just absolutely panicked.
2-2 pitch. Williams takes a ball low. Well, it's just like the players. In spring training, you're working on a different thing here or doing things differently. It's just like that for the broadcasters.
Well, you've broken a lot of guys in over the years, and players that first step in and trying to get a feel for what it's like to do radio games are completely different. So many different aspects of our industry, whether you're doing games as an analyst, play-by-play, whether you're doing pre and post, whether you're doing that on radio or television, they're all different.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Williams with a fly ball towards right field, slicing towards the line. Nate Eaton hard to his left, bangs into the sidewall, and that's into the stands for a foul ball.
My real panic moment, though, in that first game was that I jumped up to use the restroom at about the 5th or 6th inning, and I was probably in there for about 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden John comes in behind me. And he was like, hey, CJ, if I don't get back in time, can you take us back from break? I'm like, I don't even know what that means. What do you mean take you back? I'm like, please just get back on time. Don't put me in that spot. And he made it.
I bet he enjoyed just scaring you like that.
Probably.
2-0 Braves here in the top of the fourth. Luke Williams walked in the second inning, got a 3-2 count on him here. Pitch from Gray, and he just buzzed the light tower, that curveball, and there's ball 4. So a leadoff walk. All right, several years ago, this is either 2011 or 2012, you filled in on the Braves postgame show on radio I was hosting.
That's right. It was kind of the first real thing I ever did.
That was going to be my question to you. Was that the first major league broadcast you were ever a part of?
Yeah, I remember bothering Derek about it. I would listen to the pre and post game show. I knew my
There's a ball low to Leon.
Career was, right near the end, and was hoping to be able to make the transition, and got a chance to do a couple. But yeah, that was the first one where it was out in left field, right, left center field,
right.
studio
in the fan plaza there at Turner Field. Pick off over to first base, back with a dive, Luke Williams. And we were told, hey, we got a guest joining us tonight. He's getting into broadcasting, sniffing it out. And they told us it was you. So you came on with myself and Jay Howell.
That's right.
If I remember right.
That's correct, yeah. Well, I think I did it a couple of times. Actually had a chance to go back and play.
Runner goes, 1-0 pitch, swung on at a fly ball towards deep center field. Rafaela circling around the back of it, under it in deep center, makes a two-handed squeeze, and one down.
But that was definitely the first taste. For sure, and I still have the credential. I posted it last year, kind of on the anniversary, whatever it was. It was sometime in the middle of the summer, but I thought it was so cool to have a credential that got me into the ballpark.
Definitely. And you think that was, 2012?
It was 12 or 11, so I still played in 12, but I think this was kind of in between. I was dealing with an injury in 11. I wasn't sure if I was done or not.
That's amazing. Here's Patrick Cloesy. Runner goes. There's a ball low, no throw down. Stolen base standing for Luke Williams.
See that jump he got? And we're seeing a lot of this now. I mean, it's been a trend in the game the last couple of years, but where the feet are moving instead of just nobody's stealing bases necessarily anymore from a standstill position. Everyone's trying to cheat and get a couple of extra steps, and that was a big one by Luke.
1-0 to Closey. Low and inside. Zach Kelly is a right-hander. He's tossing right now for the Red Sox. They have some action in their bullpen. Sonny Gray with 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's given up 2 runs on 4 hits. Braves a base hit away from potentially another run. 2-0 on the inside corner for a strike, 2-1.
Just one game last year in the regular season for Sonny Gray where he had 4 walks. Amazing that he's got 4 more here today.
Yeah, this is not like him. 2-1 and a bouncer foul on the right field line. Overcast skies. Lights are on here at the ballpark. It is warmed up to 61 degrees. And that's about the high that we're going to see here today in Fort Myers. Wind at about 15 to 20 miles an hour in from left center field, blowing right at the right field foul line. 2-2 to Closey. Low and away, 3-2. Looking down there into the Braves dugout, and I'm seeing sleeves and some hoodies and some jackets down there. Likewise for the Red Sox, if they're along the railing of the third base dugout. Definitely the chilliest day of spring training. 3-2 pitch, and that looked like it caught him on the elbow. So a sinker grazed the elbow of Patrick Closey. That'll put runners at first and second. If you told me that it was going to be 60 degrees down in Fort Myers, I would guess that it's February the 20th, not March the 17th. There comes Alex Cora, and that's going to be it for Sonny Gray. And they'll be going with Kelly on the mound. But you get to this point of spring, you think that any cold weather would be behind you.
This late in spring, you're also not thinking that if you're running the clubhouse that you need to have those sweatshirts and everything else available for the guys. You're right. It's been a big surprise. I mean, it feels nice. I'd rather be a little bit cool than a little bit hot. But, yeah, a little bit different for guys. And obviously for Sonny Gray, struggling a little bit with the way that he felt in this weather today, which you got to get used to pretty quickly because you're going to get a few days like this in Boston.
Yeah, this is a lot more along the lines of what you're going to experience once we start the season. New pitcher is the right-hander Zach Kelly. Big righty, 6'3", 230. He's out of Newberry, South Carolina. Just turned 31 years old about 2 weeks ago. And it's been a rocky spring training for him. He's given up 4 runs in 5 innings, 7 hits. And he takes over for Sonny Gray. And like you mentioned, for Sonny Gray, we're seeing a pitcher that was putting up a line that we're not used to seeing out of him.
Yeah, going into that age 36 season, right? He waived the no-trade clause, and it's big dollars when you look at it's kind of a total contract. They did things a little bit differently to make it happen where that base salary is going to be just a tick over $30 million, but there's a $10 million buyout for a mutual option next year. So he's essentially making about $40 million this year in a Boston Red Sox uniform. And that comes with a little bit of extra added pressure. Remember, there was talk about him in New York and maybe how that wasn't a great fit for him. He's got something to prove, I think, in Boston. As good as he has been, and he's had a great career. I don't want to take anything away from him, but it was always kind of out there. I thought it was a little overblown, but it's probably a thing that Red Sox fans will pick up on, and we'll see how he does in a Red Sox uniform.
They went on the official score that they said walk to Closey. I thought it might have clipped the elbow.
I thought it did too.
Maybe we'll get that cleaned up later on. But as it stands now, according to the official score, that's 5 walks. If that stays as a walk rather than a hit by pitch, I thought it clipped the elbow. But if it stays as is, that'd be 5 walks in 3 1/3 innings for Sonny Gray. So here's the right-hander Kelly. Runners at first and second, 1 down. Bat in the hands of a Zokar. Pick off to second. Back in with a dive now is Luke Williams.
I also thought I saw the hands go up of the home plate umpire. Right? I think that was the other indicator when you see 2 hands go up that it is a hit by pitch and not a ball. But I'm getting older and I could just be seeing things.
That makes 2 of us in. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Zokar lashes one in the air to deep right field. Going bat Eaton still backpedaling. He's got it for the out. Tagging from second base, Luke Williams. He advances. First and third, 2 down now and back to the top of the order. You and I both got a little bit older here in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I was kind of curious for you now. So I'm 53. You just turned 46. Are you at the point yet? Are you walking into rooms and forgetting why you walked in there? Is that happening yet to you?
It depends on if I went out the night before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's about 3 times a day on average for me. Yeah. Like, what was I coming in here for?
Where's the light switch again? That, along with calling 27 spring training games.
You got built-in excuses.
It'll leave you bewildered. 2 down for Mateo, runners at the corners.
Hey, you were talking about, I'm sorry, my bad.
Mateo takes the ball out outside.
Right. You were talking about spring training, what guys are doing, especially now that we're down the stretch. This is interesting for Kelly. He's a big league reliever. He's been in the big leagues for them the last couple of years. To come into the middle of an inning, probably for Alex Cora wanting him to get some of those reps of feeling like it's the season. Usually it's the backup guys doing it.
Mateo takes a called strike. Yeah, that replicates a regular season scenario, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And he didn't take on a lot of inherited runners last year, only 9 of them, but 5 did score. He took on a couple in the postseason for the Boston Red Sox last year. So you want to do that those last 10 days or so, some mid-inning kind of back against the wall outings.
1-1 to Mateo. Check swing. The appeal did not go. I want to ask you the same question I asked Darren here in the last few days. I said, what was the last hurdle that you wanted to clear to be ready for the regular season? For him, it was the back-to-back.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely the same. And especially for me during my generation, a lot of times it was, before we had the 3-batter minimum, you're just facing lefties, kind of night in and night out. So let me do that a couple of days in a row, get used to the recovery part of it, getting hot twice in a row, pitching, and then getting that recovery in.
2-1 pitch. Mateo fouls one back. What was that like compared to the challenge of finishing an inning, sitting, and then getting back up to pitch an entire inning?
Yeah, I mean, that matters too, right? That is also something I think you want to experience. And again, depending on the years and what my role was, but it was just a lefty guy, it was rare that I'd be going back out unless there was another lefty to lead off the inning.
Runner at first goes. 2-2 pitch is high and dropped by Carlos Narvaez. Down to second, Clohessy. So it's a stolen base for Clohessy. Now a base hit could lead to 2 runs. Braves currently have a 2-0 lead. We're in the top of the 4th. Mateo is 1 for 2 with a double. Kelly set right of the belly. And the 3-2 from the righty. Inside ball 4. Another free pass. And that will load the bases for Brett Wisely. And looking at the box score, Wisely's the man you want to the plate in this situation.
It's been a good day for him so far with the double and the single. Has driven in a run so far. Plus, you also get the left-handed bat here against the right-handed pitcher. Although, for whatever it's worth, Kelly had backward splits last year. He was better against lefties than he was righties by a pretty good wide margin.
First pitch, missed outside with a cutter. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Braves. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. We're in the top of the 4th. Braves have the bases loaded, 2 down. Right-hander Kelly spins the 1-0. Fouled back just above us.
Look out.
That just about took out some fans right below us.
Part of that, though, I guess it's kind of what you believe in more when you're judging these kind of things. So the OPS for lefties only 604. Righties 820. However, he struck out righties at twice the clip that he did against the lefties. So way more swing and miss against right-handed hitters. And also, but a much higher OPS.
1-1 outside.
It's kind of a tweener. Got a better chance of striking out the righty, but also a better chance that he's going to slug against you.
Yeah, that's interesting to dissect. Well, he is surrounded by Braves. 2 balls and a strike. Kelly deals. All inside. Missed with a fastball. A 3-1 count on Wisely. Red Sox pitchers with 3 walks this inning, 6 in the game. And now a very favorable count for Brett Wisely with the bases loaded. 3-1 in there. Got a cutter over the outside corner. So the count runs full. Runners will take off here. Mateo is at first. Clohessy at second. Williams at third. And a chance to hang a crooked number up there on the scoreboard with a base hit right here. Red Sox fans getting loud and supporting their right-hander Kelly. He comes set. Wisely awaits. Runners go. 3-2. Chopper out to second base. Charging Meyer. Takes a chest-high hop. Lobs over to first base. And there's the final out. So the Braves load him up but cannot score. No runs, no hits, no errors. 3 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-0 Atlanta.
Napa Napa has the parts and the expertise to help your business stay ahead of the game. That's why Napa is a proud partner of the 2025 Atlanta Braves. Two legends driven to win from the field to the open road. While Napa is powering fleets and garages across the country, the Braves are delivering pennants, MVPs, and championships. So no matter the size of your business, Napa are the pros that know how to keep you moving at full speed.
Napa know how.
Here's a club you'll want to get into, Club Citgo. It's the super easy app that opens the door to great fuel savings and more. Sign up and instantly save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up, plus everyday savings that really add up. You can also enter our sweepstakes with multiple winners and giveaways, like free gas for a year. And Club Citgo makes paying easy with a convenient mobile pay feature. So welcome to the club where all the action is. Download Club Citgo today. Savings good up to 30 gallons, only at participating locations. Data rates may apply.
You need all the energy you can get for game day. Luckily at Georgia Power, we know a thing or two about saving energy. We understand that energy costs are an important part of your budget. That's why we're dedicated to providing tools and assistance that can help make a difference, so you can save your energy for the game. Visit georgiapower.com/myenergy to learn more.
All value games at Truist Park get you $15 tickets, $10 parking, food and beverage offers, and more. Learn more at braves.com/value.
Braves on top of the Red Sox 2-0 into the bottom of the fourth inning alongside C.J. Nikowski. Ben Ingram here with you. Reynaldo Lopez out there for his fourth inning of action. He will be facing Durbin, Meyer, and Rafaela, middle three, and Alex Cora's order here in the fourth inning. So far, so good for Lopez. 3 scoreless innings. He's given up just 2 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. First pitch swinging. Popped up just back of first. Farmer into foul ground. Back by the tarp and can't get there. That's off the sidewall. We talked about that wind pushing everything left to right. And that was right up there into the teeth of the wind and just pushed it into the screen.
Normal day, he's probably catching that on the grass somewhere. And this is a pretty thick track that they have, at least in foul territory in front of the dugout. That thing just kept blowing and blowing and eventually right into the net.
No balls and a strike on Caleb Durbin. 0-1 pitch, and he hits one in the air down the left field line towards the corner. And that's a fair ball that rolls into the corner. Up with it, Ben Gamble sends it into the cutoff man, Mateo. And as the dust settles, it's a leadoff double for Caleb Durbin.
And the first time that we've seen the curveball for Reynaldo Lopez, that has given him a little bit of trouble. He has clearly used that pitch more today with intent, especially to lefties, but that was a right-on-right curveball that hung in the zone a little bit that turned into that double.
Leadoff man aboard. Here's Marcelo Meyer. Meyer swings and gets a piece of it, fouls it off, and that got a piece of the foot of Clint Vondrak. We're losing umpires like crazy here.
Think they got an extra uniform for J-Chad, might get him out there.
If we lose Clint, it might be JC down there calling balls and strikes. And I can promise you he'd be tossing players left and right.
This game will be over in 15 minutes.
They're going to send the trainer out to check on Vondrak. Have you ever umpired at any level?
I think I did it for when I was about 13 or 14 for maybe like a 10-year-old baseball game. Okay. One and done. How about you?
Yeah, I did it in college.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you could have been an umpire for sure. You got some presence to you. What you need.
Well, I was probably anywhere from, I don't know, maybe 11 and 12-year-olds all the way up to 15 and 16-year-olds, and you just kind of never knew exactly what age group you might have. But it was a couple of different leagues, and me and some of my buddies would umpire as our summer job. It was a fun job.
Throw any parents out of games?
I did not throw any parents out of games, but I was part of a game. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen on the baseball field. I was umpiring a game with a guy who had actually been umpiring at that complex even when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So he'd been around a long time.
That's
and
cool.
I had first base that day. I was the field umpire. So it was a 2-man crew. You had the plate, you had the field umpire. And there was this one kid's parent who was just wearing out the home plate umpire. 1-0 pitches outside. And he comes to me in between innings, and he says, I'm not saying what I'm about to do, but just whatever happens, just back me up.
That's what everybody wants to hear.
I said, okay. So I have no idea what's about to happen. There's a ball low and outside. Well, he's behind the plate. I'm in the field. And sure enough, the father of this kid who's pitching on the mound is just, leather lunging the umpire. Just every call. That's a strike, Blue. That's a ball, Blue. Blah, 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 blah. Runner dancing at second. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way to Marcelo Meyer. Now time called. And the home plate umpire goes, time. And he walks past the first base dugout, through a gate, and leaves the field. And it's just me. And I'm thinking, what's happening here? And he walks off to the bleachers and sits down in the bleachers right next to the dad. There's a ball that bounces in front of the plate. And all the fans are saying, what are you doing, Blue? What are you doing? And he says, clearly this guy has a better view of the strike zone from here than I do back there. Play ball. And he called the rest of the half an inning from the bleachers. And I'm in the field thinking, there's just no way we're not playing this game under protest. And they didn't speak the rest of the game. It worked, and he went back onto the field, and we finished the game.
That's genius.
There's the 3-1. Low and outside, and a walk to Marcelo Meyer.
So what do you think the back me up move was there? Like, don't follow me or just go with it, don't say anything?
I think so. Yeah. He just needed somebody to go along with him, and I was the other umpire. So obviously he knew that some of the other coaches might say, what is he doing? I would say, he's in his ability to do this.
And that guy was umpiring when you were a kid?
He was around forever, yeah. He umpired a long time. So, he was experienced with things like this. I was going to let him do whatever he wanted to do.
That's pretty smart.
Here's Rafaela. He swings and misses.
How weird was that, you think, for the pitcher, that there's no umpire behind the plate to finish out the inning?
I didn't think about that. Or how mortified he might have been that his dad was just embarrassing him and now having the tables turned on him. No balls and a strike on Rafaela. He'll take a called strike there, 0-2.
So coaching over the years for younger kids and with my boys, you go through it and you have the meeting with parents all the time. We're going to stay off the umpires. Gets to be too much. We don't want them getting worked up. We don't want them having calls go against us. Just give these guys a break. They deserve it. And we had a meeting one time with our players, and I asked them all how they felt when their parents were screaming and yelling. How did that make them feel during a game?
0-2 to Rafaela. Struck him out. Good fastball. It's tipped into the mitt, 1 down.
And every kid, with the exception of one, said, yeah, we don't like it. Just makes us uncomfortable when our parents are doing that. And one kid was like, I love it. I love when my dad yells at the umpire. I was like, really?
Let him have it.
All right.
Dylan Dodd tossing in the bullpen now for the Braves. 2-0 Atlanta. As we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Bad hands of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Kiner-Falefa sends one foul. I know I was playing, I might have been 9 or 10 years old. And we're playing another Little League team, obviously. And the umpire was probably a 17, 18-year-old kid. And he was having a tough game. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Curveball swung on and lifted to left field. That'll drop in for a base hit. Coming around third base, Durbin. Now they're going to stop him. Throw comes back in. That was just a little lob shot in the left field by Kiner-Falefa. That'll load the bases with 1 down. Second hit of the inning. And now we're going to have a meeting at the mound. It's a 2-0 Braves lead. Bases are loaded, 1 down for Narvaez. Dylan Dodd had been tossing in the bullpen for the Braves.
I think they'd love to see Ronaldo Lopez find a way to finish this inning. That was a curveball there, and another one that kind of hung a little bit at a slower velocity. It's just 71 miles an hour, and so if you can figure out a way here, bases loaded, 1 out to try to get out of this thing. I mentioned he's not a big-time ground ball pitcher, but he's had his moments, especially when he has used that slider to get some ground balls and get those double plays. And I imagine for Lopez right now and having that conversation with Jeremy Hefner, they're figuring out a way that how can he do this pretty efficiently and finish off this inning.
Well, you mentioned he's done a better job of getting ground balls with that slider, and maybe he can get one here and get out of the inning. Narvaez the batter. Bases loaded, 1 down, 2-0 Braves. He struck out Narvaez in the 2nd inning. Lopez goes to work, popped up, pushing back towards foul ground and out of play, 0-1. I'll finish that story. This home plate umpire wasn't having a very good day. Got into it with the coach of the other team, took the mask off. Coach decked him.
No way.
Knocked him out right there on the field.
So an adult coach knocking out an 18-year-old umpire? Yikes.
They arrested him, got him out of there. So he went to jail with his Little League uniform. True story. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Narvaez, little tapper, right side of the mound. Lopez has it, one play. Throws to first base, gets the out, run scores. So able to just take the easy out at first base. Runners at second and third now, and 2 down. And now Nate Eaton will come to the plate. This is the regular season, game on the line. Maybe you could think about coming to the plate, but that had his momentum going towards first base and just a no-brainer to get the out at first.
Would have had it been almost like a shovel pass for Ronaldo.
That'll be swung on a miss by Eaton. A 2-1 game. Lopez trying to keep it that way. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way to the number 9 hitter. And a called strike on Eaton. Down to second, Narvaez. Over to third base, Meyer, and it was Durbin who scored. Lopez deals the 0-2. This is low and outside. Well, don't you know he'd love to finish with a strikeout here.
3 straight sliders. There are times again where he'll try to disguise that fastball. I wonder if he'll take a shot maybe to try to elevate outside the zone or stick to another breaking ball.
Set of the belt, 1-2 pitch. Swung on at a fly ball to left center field, dropping in for a base hit. That'll drive in 2 runs. Nate Eaton perfectly plays one between a Zokar, Gamble, and Mateo in left center field. It scores Meyer and Connor Falefa, and the Red Sox vault in front 3-2.
A tough break for Lopez. He went back to the slider. It was a good one. It was below the zone. Just a nice piece of hitting there by Nate Eaton, who's having a really strong spring. It wasn't hit very hard, but enough for that 2 RBI base hit.
And here comes Walt Weiss. That'll be it for Reynaldo Lopez. Well, he had the number 9 hitter down to his final strike. And like you mentioned, it wasn't loud contact by any means. He was hoping to finish up with a strikeout, keep the runners stranded at second and third. But it gives up that soft single to left center field. Now the Braves will go to the bullpen, and Dylan Dodd will come on. Dodd 6'2", 210. And he's on for the 6th time this spring. He's gone 1-0, the 3.52 ERA. He's given up 3 runs on 10 hits and 7 2/3 spring training innings. Only 1 walk and 8 strikeouts for Dodd. And a guy that we saw 28 times last season in relief. And it was interesting to see the role that he was in last year, because in the seasons prior we saw him as a starter. And maybe a long man is a role that could be more beneficial for him.
Yeah, I think he has made the adjustment pretty well. Changed up that repertoire a little bit and kind of adjusting accordingly here for Dylan Dodd. A lot of cutters that you get from this left-hander. There's a 4-seam fastball, some sliders in there as well, and that has been something that has been talked about this spring. But you mentioned the strikeouts and the walks. They've been very good so far. They were excellent last year. In his 35 innings last season with the Atlanta Braves over his 28 games, just 5 walks for him over that time. So he's going to fill up the strike zone. And that cutter is more of kind of a contact pitch. You don't necessarily look at it as a big swing and miss pitch in general. He actually has done a pretty good job getting some whiff on that cutter.
Go back to 2023. We saw him early in that season. He was using the rotation to begin that season. Made 7 starts. And then saw him just once in 2024 and 28 relief appearances a year ago. Big crowd here at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers, spring training home of the Red Sox. Just about everybody here wearing green on St. Patrick's Day. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Braves. Alongside C.J. Nikowski, Ben Ingram here with you. He's wearing the bottom of the 4th. Here's Masataka Yoshida. He's 0 for 2 in the game. Pick off over to first base, and back in standing Nate Eaton. Dylan Dodd, deep inhale and exhales. He comes set right at the belt. Pitch to the plate. Missed outside with a sinker.
And this is probably the one thing for Dylan Dodd that you're looking for in some improvement. Last year, he dominated righties. They only hit 193 against him. Again, that has a lot to do with the cutter. When you're cutter heavy, your chances are you're going to be better against opposite-handed hitters. So lefties hit 313.
1-0 pitch outside. What pitch in his arsenal has to be better to neutralize the lefties?
Well, it's got to be the bigger breaking ball, right, for me. Get something that is sweeping away from them where you can get some swing and miss. You have that tighter one where you're going to pitch to contact, but the slider, if you can use that a little bit more, and he didn't use it very much, that could be the pitch that could get him out of trouble with lefties.
Runner goes, 2-0 called strike, throw down to second base, one up throw, they got him. Nate Eaton caught stealing. Sandy Leone put it right on the bag, and a good tag to wrap up the bottom of the fourth inning. But the Red Sox take the lead, 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and none left. We played 4. We go to the top of the 5th, 3-2 Red Sox.
Did you hear? Frontier is joining Verizon. To celebrate, we're launching our best internet offer ever. For a limited time, get 6 months of lightning-fast 100% fiber internet on us, up to 1 gig, when you bundle Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Visit your local Verizon store or verizon.com/welcome-frontier to switch. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply. Want a game-changing way to watch college basketball? With a one-day pass from Sling, get instant access to the men's and women's tournaments starting at just $4.99. You can catch all the action on TNT, TBS, ESPN, and ESPN2. Want even more hoops? Then add an extra pack to your subscription for just $1. No overpaying, no overcommitting, just tournaments so crazy they'd be crazy to miss. Visit sling.com to learn more. Sling lets you do that.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, golden nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
Introducing the all-new MLB Plus, your ticket to streaming baseball's best. Enjoy MLB Network 24/7 with live out-of-market games and award-winning shows. Enhance game nights with MLB Big Inning, live and commercial-free. And hear live home and away radio broadcasts of every game, blackout-free. Even stream minor league games all season. It's all here and it's all new. Get MLB Plus for just $59.99 a year. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus.
100 miles an hour this spring. And here is the first pitch, and that one is taken on the outside corner at 96 from Tolley. And a lot of talk for him this spring about a little more work on the curveball. He's a cutter guy that go along with the four-seam fastball, a changeup. Working on a big breaker. There's a cutter right there at 91 miles an hour, called a strike. So very quickly 0-2 here to Farmer. And there's 3-4-5 due here this inning for the Braves, who are now trailing 3-2 after the Red Sox scored 3 in the bottom of the inning. And there is a fastball swung on and missed. 3 pitches, and Farmer is down on strikes 97 at the top of the zone there from Peyton Tolley.
He is their number 1 prospect, 23 years old, out of Bethany, Oklahoma. Started his collegiate career at Wichita State. He was a two-way player.
You're that big, you better be able to hit.
He hit 320 at Wichita State.
Ben Gamble steps in. He checks the swing. No, he does not. It is called a swing on a two-seam fastball. 96 miles an hour. Tough left-on-left matchup you're going to get here. Now here comes the 0-1, and there is a breaking ball, the curveball that he's working on, misses up and in. And Tolley is very much a left-hander, personality plus guy. There was a moment this spring where he had addressed the Red Sox clubhouse, and people talking about how fun and confident he is as he misses with another curveball. Their inside count goes now to 2-1.
Transferred to TCU. He was the Big 12 pitcher of the year, and then a second-round choice in 2024 for Boston.
Here comes the 2-1, and there's a fastball foul. So even it up here, 2-2. 5 home runs allowed in the big league opportunity that he got last season in 16 in the third innings. That one was a little bit of a surprise to see that big fastball and the struggles that he had at the big league level. The ERA was over 6 in his 3 starts and 4 relief appearances, but no problems here. 99 miles an hour past Ben Gamble, and it is back-to-back strikeouts for Tolley here to kick off the 5th inning. There's 3 strikeouts now on the day for Ben Gamble.
It's funny to think of a 23-year-old stepping up at a big league clubhouse to address the team.
He is all lefty. He is all personality and a ton of fastball as he now gets ready to face Camargo, who looks at a pitch outside the strike zone. That one at 98. But this is a Boston rotation that is expected to be probably the most important part of this team and how they're going to be anchored this season. The pitch that is fouled to the plate, count evens 1-1. Of course, they have Garrett Crochet at the very top of the rotation. Sonny Gray is going to be their number 2. Ranger Suarez, who they brought in this offseason via free agency. Brian Bayo and Johan Oviedo expected to round things out. There is a breaking ball that is fouled at the plate. Count no 1-2 to Camargo.
I like that rotation. May give you some variety.
Yeah, they're going to be in a pretty good situation. You mentioned variety is a good way to kind of put it. Crochet's a hard-throwing lefty. Sonny Gray's kind of your sinker ball guy. Suarez a little bit different from the left side. Bayo leads with his changeup. And here comes the 1-2, and this one lifted in the air to center field. Dropping now, and it's actually going to be the right fielder making the catch there. And it's Nate Eaton. So very quick 1-2-3 inning here for Peyton Tolley. And we'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning when we get back.
Strike 3. Good calls. They're great in baseball games, and they're even better when you need a law firm. If you've been in an auto accident and need legal representation, do yourself a favor and get the best call there is. I'm attorney Ken Nugent. My team will fight for you and stick with you from start to finish, working hard to get your money quick. Give our team a call. 404-CALL-KEN. One call, that's all. Proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
Kenneth S. Nugent, PC, Attorneys at Law, 1355 Peachtree Street Northeast, Suite 1000, Atlanta, Georgia, 30309.
I remember the hard road that led to this moment.
And the MLB Comeback Player of the Year is Atlanta Braves pitcher Johnny Venters.
Every day I work towards a better future for my family, my teammates, and my community. Having a setback in life can be devastating, but each challenge is a setup for your strongest comeback.
Braves win!
That's why I trust Globe Life. For over 125 years, they have been helping families protect their financial future. Globe Life. Make tomorrow better.
When life throws you a curveball, whether it's water, fire, or mold damage to your home or business, you need a winning team. You need ServPro. ServPro's licensed, certified, and highly trained team of experts are here to help, offering fast, reliable, professional restoration services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As a proud partner of the Atlanta Braves and Braves Country, our teams are committed to performing at a championship level. When disaster strikes, call ServPro and make it like it never even happened.
The Braves Country Music Fest at Truist Park is June 13th, featuring Cody Johnson, Ella Langley, and more. Get tickets at braves.com/BravesCountryFest.
Welcome back. Bottom of the 5th inning here at JetBlue Park. Dylan Dodd on the mound getting ready to face Yoshida. The Braves trailing at 3-2 right now here to the Boston Red Sox. Dodd came on to finish off things in the 4th inning. Got a caught stealing, and so he'll continue to face Yoshida, who saw a couple of pitches last inning as he takes a look there at a cutter that is off the plate, count 1-0. Now, Yoshida's role on this team with the Red Sox is going to be interesting. He is a guy that struggles against lefties. There's a 1-0 and is swung on and chopped over to second base. Wisely has it over to first, and there's a quick one out for Dylan Dodd. But kind of where he ends up as far as consistent playing time will be interesting for Yoshida and the Boston Red Sox. Kind of a DH at this point and a platoon DH at best, because he has struggled against lefties in his career here in the States. Here we go, one out now here. Trevor Story going to step in against Dylan Dodd. A single and a triple so far here this afternoon for the Red Sox shortstop. And he comes up empty against a Dylan Dodd cutter, 0-1.
Do you know the bragging rights you're building up over O'Day right now?
I'm here to inspire. I told him he could do this. I told Nick Green they could do this. They can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Here's the 0-1, lifted foul right side. That one's going to get out of play. 0-2 for Trevor Story against Dylan Dodd.
It's like Joe Castiglione said. There's nothing to it. You just follow the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I admire. You hear it all the time from people on the television side how much we admire what happens on the radio side. It is a different kind of broadcast for sure. But you have your opportunities to get a little bit creative. And Eric Nadel, I remember him telling me this one time. You're painting a picture. That's kind of fun. Although I couldn't paint at all. Zero artistic ability.
Eric's a great one to learn from, isn't he?
He's awesome. Dodd said, here comes the 0-2 to Trevor Story, and he goes fishing for a slider that is outside of the strike zone. 3-pitch strikeout for Dylan Dodd, who's looking very good here this afternoon for the Braves. That, to me, is the pitch. I mentioned it for the lefties, but a good-looking slider that was below the zone. And now for Dylan Dodd, he's going to face Jarren Duran, left-handed hitting outfielder for the Boston Red Sox. Here comes the first pitch, and that one foul back. That's a fastball. Check that cutter, 88 miles an hour from Dylan Dodd. The conversion from a starter now to a reliever. Did a really nice job for the Atlanta Braves, did Dylan Dodd. Just 28 games, and there was a pitch off the plate, 95-mile-an-hour sinker from the left-hander.
Well, it's put him in a position now where I don't know that it matters what they ask him to do. He's well-versed in doing just about whatever they require of him.
Here's the 1-1, and there's another fastball that misses, and another sinker. Now, that actually becomes interesting to me, watching him throw the two-seam fastball. He did not do that last year. Now, these have been a way to a left-handed hitter in Durant. I love the two-seam fastball, and it's one of my favorite left-on-left pitches. That could help a little bit with trying to get these lefties out as he tries another fastball on the outside corner, and that one misses. So the count 3-1 now here for Dylan Dodd to Jarren Duran.
Yeah, you start spotting that pitch to lefties, it gives you another dimension.
And you get to break some bats, too, which is always fun with that two-seam fastball. There's one that is swung on and missed. It's a cutter from Dylan Dodd. Count goes full here, 3-2, 2 outs. And we're in the bottom of the fifth inning at JetBlue Park with the Atlanta Braves trailing the Boston Red Sox by a score of 3-2. Chad Durbin waiting on deck. And there is a fastball that misses off the plate. I'm sorry, I said Chad Durbin, former teammate of mine. That's Caleb Durbin. I was waiting on deck. Just like walking into a room and forgetting why you did it.
Look, he walks up there, he goes to that sinker, but I don't mind him trying, just for what you're talking about, just trying to tinker with that, see if it's something they can use with more regularity in the regular season. And facing a tough batter in Jarren Duran, that was a great time to try it out on a 3-2 pitch.
And good velocity there, 96 miles an hour from Dodd. Here's the first pitch to Durbin, lifted in the air right side. That one is going to reach the stands, count 0-1. But it did look like he was trying to go away. And I will tell you, that for me was one of the last things that I really had to kind of overcome on the mental side of things, going left on left with a two-seam fastball inside. You've got to throw that pitch with conviction. You can't try to ease it in there. Can't try to feel it, otherwise you're going to miss over the plate. Or the other direction, you're going to end up hitting a guy. There's a good-looking fastball, and that one is called a ball. Count even 1-1, but Sandy Lone, like me, thought it was good. So he's going to challenge it.
Sandy's had a good eye for it today.
And that one does catch his own by a pretty good margin. Sandy is crushing it right now on the ABS. Well, I say good margin. It was about 0.2 inches. But he's got those kinds of eyes. So the count now is 0-2 instead of 1-1 to Caleb Durbin. Duran leading off first. Hold from Dodd, and he throws over to first base. And Duran is back in plenty of time without sliding. Good crowd here today. As Ben mentioned, overcast, cool. Game time temperature was 58 degrees. Here's the 0-2, and there is a pitch that is elevated. Another two-seam fastball. This one misses. And the count goes 1-2 for Dylan Dodd to Caleb Durbin. Shout out Chad Durbin. Hope you're doing all right, buddy.
He was a Brave for a little while, Chad Durbin.
A long time with the Phillies. We spent some time in New Orleans together. Well, breaking ball lifted in the air, slider, straightaway right field. Clohisi is there, makes the catch, and the inning is done. So very nice work from Dylan Dodd, pitching around a 2-out walk. And it is still 3-2 here as we go to the top of the sixth inning from JetBlue Park.
Did you hear? Frontier is joining Verizon. To celebrate, we're launching our best internet offer ever. For a limited time, get 6 months of lightning-fast 100% fiber internet on us, up to 1 gig, when you bundle Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Visit your local Verizon store or verizon.com/welcome-frontier to switch. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply. Want a game-changing way to watch college basketball? With a one-day pass from Sling, get instant access to the men's and women's tournaments starting at just $4.99. You can catch all the action on TNT, TBS, ESPN, and ESPN2. Want even more hoops? Then add an extra pack to your subscription for just $1. No overpaying, no overcommitting, just tournaments so crazy they'd be crazy to miss. Visit sling.com to learn more. Sling lets you do that.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, golden nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
It's finally here. Baseball's best step back between the lines.
All schemes.
And all eyes are on opening week on MLB Network with live games all week.
It is gone.
Live look-ins every night and post-game reactions from the biggest stars on MLB Tonight.
Good to get that win today, but got to keep going.
It's showtime on the home of baseball. Opening week on MLB Network, presented by Adobe. Coverage begins March 25th.
Atlanta Braves greats with Monasterio over at short. And what we found out about Rafaela, Chipper is in, I guess we'll call it a middle name for him, as there's a first pitch from Tolley that is called a strike. 96-mile-an-hour fastball there.
It's one of his, 5 names I think he has.
By the way, Luke Williams here hitting for the Atlanta Braves. Facing down Tolley, who covers almost his entire face with his glove as he delivers a changeup at 90 miles an hour. That is the TBS effect, right? I mean, as far as Braves baseball for so long being available in so many different places, 1-1 is fouled off to Luke Williams here. Count goes 1-2. Not only the amount of Braves fans, but the amount of now active players named after Braves. The 1-2 pitch to Luke Williams, grounded to the left side. Durbin has it on the run. No, he bobbles the throw, and he cannot make it. It'll be an infield hit for Luke Williams. He was going to have to hurry anyway. It probably would have been close with the great speed of Luke Williams. But Durbin on the exchange fumbles that one, and the Braves have their leadoff hitter on.
Yeah, the full name for Rafaela is Cedon Chipper Nicasio Marte Rafaela. And growing up in Curacao, everybody in Curacao is a big Andrew Jones fan, including Cedon Rafaela's mom. And after watching the Braves because of Andrew, became a big Chipper fan and named her son after Chipper. He goes by Cedon, obviously, but one of his middle names is Chipper.
I wonder if anybody here with the Red Sox calls him Chipper or Chip. Luke Williams leading off first. Sandy Leon offering at a first pitch and hits it into right field. Little soft base hit. Williams around second. He's going to try to get to third to throw all the way to third, but it is not in time. And Luke Williams is able to hold the bag after a really nice slide over there at third base. A base hit for Sandy Leon, and the Braves have first and third with nobody out.
For a ball hit to right field and the runner at first base, he had a really good read on that, knowing that there's so much land to cover out there for Nate Eaton, and that was a shallow fly ball that Eaton had to run a long way up just to get there, and he could get 2 bags on it.
I was a little bit surprised. That was a great read. I was like, he may be able to catch that. It wasn't even close. You mentioned it. Nice read there from Luke Williams, and so now the Braves, in business here. Colhissy now batting left on left against Tolley. He swings at the first pitch and fouls it over toward the Red Sox dugout. It sounded like he may have broken his bat. He did. And so he'll go get a new one. And this is what I was talking about with that pitch. So that was a 97-mile-an-hour, 2-seam fastball, left on left. It is such a difficult pitch to contend with if you're using it on the inner third. And Tolley did there. And he broke a bat doing it.
Well, and if you're going to have success against a pitcher who can locate that pitch that way, it's going to be like this. An infield single, then a little blooper over the infield. Not a whole lot of hard contact.
Definitely not. Big time arm here for Peyton Tolley, who comes set. Sandy Leon leading off first, Luke Williams at third. And there is a fastball on the outside corner called a strike. So the count goes 0-2. The Braves trailing 3-2 right now here in the top of the 6th inning. But they got action with runners on the corners and nobody out. Here comes now the 0-2 from Tolley, and that one is fouled straight back. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Peyton Tolley. So there's probably not a spot available in the rotation for Tolley. You mentioned him being their top prospect, but certainly there'll be some opportunities in Boston for him this year. Tolley set again, and here comes the 0-2. And there is a fastball on the corner called strike 3, 98 there from Peyton Tolley. And Clohissy is down on strikes.
That puts him in a good position, too. I mean, you think about the position that he's in, number one prospect, not a whole lot of pressure on him to be what he is not right now. He can start the season in AAA, continue that good momentum. You're obviously going to need more than 5 starters to get through a season.
As the first pitch to Zokar is foul back, count 0-1.
And he can ramp up and be in a good position when they call upon him and need him.
Well, he's still so young, 23 years old. You mentioned a 2024 second-round draft pick out of TCU. Did get a taste of the big leagues last year. Here's his 0-1 to Zokar. That one is fouled off, 97 miles an hour from Tolley. So he is quickly ahead 0-2. Base hit from Luke Williams, base hit from Sandy Leon. And that created a first and third nobody out situation. But after the strikeout, there's now 1 out with runners on the corners. And the 0-2, and there is another foul ball right side into the stands for Zokar. Wind still blowing out to right field. We've already seen the wind wreak a little bit of havoc here for the outfielders. The 0-2, and there's a breaking ball line. Nice play by Durbin over at third, robbing Zokar of extra bases. That ball, no doubt, was ticketed for the corner, and at least 1 run and maybe 2. But Durbin, known for his glove, makes an excellent play over at third base.
You mentioned the emphasis on defense and the improvement of the defense for the Red Sox. Durbin, a big step in that direction. A lot of other third basemen. That's definitely a base hit down the line.
So now first and third with 2 outs here for the Braves, and Jorge Mateo steps in. He takes a first pitch four-seam fastball at 97 miles an hour for a strike. The trade-off for the Red Sox and some of the concerns, yes, they are definitely better in the infield, but where the power is going to come from in this infield will be interesting. This one is grounded to the left side, fair ball. Durbin goes to second, over to Meyer, and he gets out of it. Peyton Tolley first and third, nobody out, but no problem. The Braves fail to score. We'll go to the now bottom of the 6th inning. Atlanta still down 3-2.
Everyone has a horizon, the line you can't see past. Before it, the familiar. Beyond it, the unknown. Enter the Lexus GX. It's designed to be capable. It's designed to be luxurious. But most of all, it's designed to get you past your horizon. And the nice thing about horizons is that once they're crossed, there's always another, patiently waiting its turn. Live up to it. The Lexus GX. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Are you tired of your food tasting tasty, but somehow not quite tasty enough? That's why the original Louisiana brand hot sauce invented the original Louisiana brand hot sauce. It's the perfect balance of peppery peppers, tarty vinegar, and the salty tears of Mets fans who cried because they didn't win. But everyone can win at eating something delicious with the original Louisiana brand hot sauce, the official hot sauce of the Atlanta Braves. That's Louisiana hot. Buy you some.
Hey Braves Country, it's Tom Glavine, and when my ride needs a wash, I trust the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves, Tidal Wave Auto Spa. With hundreds of convenient locations, all-star customer service, and cutting-edge equipment that gets my ride sparkling clean in just 3 minutes, Tidal Wave is a game-changer. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com to find a location near you.
My car is happy, I am happy, Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
The Braves have over 20 gate giveaways this season, from bobbleheads to wearables. See them all at Braves.com/promos.
Red Sox on top of the Braves 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. New pitcher for the Braves is the left-hander Kyle Nelson. Tell you about him in a moment. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on the Braves Radio Network.
Atlanta Braves spring training is live on WIFN Atlanta, a Dickey broadcasting station, 1340 and 103.7 FM.
Nelson on the mound following Dodd. Dodd went an inning in the third. No runs, no hits, a walk and a strikeout. Nelson, the last 3 seasons with the Diamondbacks, made 3 appearances with an ERA of 9 last year.
And what we've seen from him over the course of his big league career, he's used that slider quite a bit. His four-seam fastball sits at 92 miles an hour, and he'll face Marcelo Meyer to kick things off here in the sixth inning. And there is a first-pitch slider off the plate, count 1-0. Braves still trailing 3-2 here at JetBlue Park, taking on the Boston Red Sox in what has been an overcast, chilly, and windy afternoon here in Fort Myers. There's another slider that misses off the plate, 84 miles an hour. You mentioned Kelly's got some service time in the big leagues every year since 2020, a couple of years with the then Cleveland Indians and time with the Arizona Diamondbacks over his last 4. There's a soft liner over to first base. And it is caught by Farmer for the first out here in the sixth inning.
Got to see Lopez for 3 2/3 of an inning. He gave up 3 runs on 5 hits, and then Dodd looked sharp. And Nelson, the third pitcher used by Walt Weiss today.
I'll be curious to see what Ronaldo has to say after his outing today and how he felt. First pitch here now is a breaking ball in the dirt to Rafaela. We talked last time about the fastball command. We saw a lot more curveball usage from Ronaldo today. Of course, again, fastball slider is 2 best pitches, but working on that curveball a little bit more this afternoon. And here is the 1-0, and that one is fouled. Slider from Kelly.
You know, we've been talking about we've been talking about the cool weather today, kind of breezy, temperature in the low 60s. I want to ask you about pitching in weather like this.
1-1, and that breaking ball misses. Count goes to 2-1.
I remember there were multiple games where I was broadcasting alongside Don Sutton, and he told me that weather like today was his favorite kind of weather to pitch in. Not cold, but cooler, little breezy.
Here's a 2-1. That one misses upstairs, 3-1. So give me overcast with a little bit of humidity. If it can be done, temperature doesn't matter as much, but you can get a little bit of humidity, overcast. For me, that's when your body always felt the best, felt the most loose. I went down on that one. There's something about that. The cold weather I didn't love. 3-1 pitch. That one misses. It'll be ball 4. Rafaela with a 1-out walk here for the Red Sox. But playing in the American League Central was where I spent a bulk of my career for the Detroit Tigers. There was a lot of games in places like Chicago at the beginning of the season, in Cleveland at the beginning of the season. And even though I was a Northeast guy, I didn't love it. But you had to teach yourself to embrace it because you knew hitters hated it.
That's a good point.
And so if you could just somehow get over the hump and tell yourself that you had the advantage, get one off the end of the bat, jam a guy one time, you were probably going to be in the better position. First pitch misses outside of the strike zone here to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
So you could convince yourself, look, that guy in the box is more miserable than I am.
I would try to.
So use that to your advantage.
And Kyle Nelson here with a slider that is fouled back by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Now they check pitchers for a reason. When they come into games, when you leave the game, they check your glove, they check your hands. I feel like the statute of limitations has run out. I will tell you that during that time, a little pine tar helped and went a long way. We'll throw over to first base, and Rafaela had a short lead back easily.
Yeah, I always thought that was interesting. I loved when you'd have a cooler night game, a little bit of humidity, and Don would say this was the perfect night, the perfect kind of weather to pitch in.
1-1, Rafaela on the move. Here's the throw from Sandy Leon, and just a little bit late. Strong throw from Leon, but Rafaela with the feet first slide gets there just ahead of it. Nothing Wisely could do. He got a quick tag down, but just not enough time to get Rafaela, who picks up a stolen base and now is in scoring position here. The pitch was a ball, so the count is 2-1. And here comes that 2-1 pitch. Lifted in the air. Soft fly ball to left field. Caught easily out there in left. And it's Ben Gamble out there for the second out. Rafaela staying put over at second base.
Speaking of pine tar, it kind of jogged my memory of a story that Don told me one time where I think it was earlier in his career. Things weren't going all that well on the mound. And his pitching coach, Red Adams, came out there to the mound. And the first thing he said was, "Son, do you cheat?" And he said, "No, sir." And he says, "You might want to think about doing so."
That is fantastic advice, and why not? Well, I was saying this the other day, and I'm going to take a shot. By the way, Paul there, want to know that you're going to be in agreement with me. I love the smell of pine tar. It's a good smell, and I'm waiting for someone to make pine tar cologne. I don't know where we are hung up here. I would absolutely wear it. Here comes the 1-0, and there is a good-looking fastball at 90 miles an hour called a strike.
I know another guy in our booth who spent some time in here time to time who'd wear it, and that's Charlie Culberson. Charlie loves some cologne.
Does he love it a little bit too much for the booth?
It's kind of a post-game ritual.
Here's the 1-1. Little breaking ball foul back. Count goes to 1-2.
I mean, Charlie's got to make sure that he's fresh. We'll finish up a game. And he's got to make sure he's got a fresh squirt on, make sure he's feeling like he hadn't been working for the last 9 innings. So maybe some pine tar cologne for Charlie.
We know Salvador Perez will wear it behind home plate. There's always been a story out there. Whatever you got to do. Here's a 1-2 with 2 outs. Ground ball hit hard left side. That's going to get through for a base hit. Rafaela around third. Here comes the throw. It's a strong one. It's high, but it's not in time. And now they have hung up between first and second Narvaez, and he will be tagged out by Brett Wisely. But it is an RBI base hit. It does end the inning with the defensive play by the Braves, but another one across for the Boston Red Sox. They now lead it 4-2 here from JetBlue Park.
Frontier is joining Verizon. New Frontier and Verizon customers can get 6 months of 100% fiber internet on us up to 1 gig by bundling Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Plus, get 2 mobile lines for $50 per month on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store to switch. $25 per line after $60 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply.
Want a game-changing way to watch college basketball? With a one-day pass from Sling, get instant access to the men's and women's tournaments starting at just $4.99. You can catch all the action on TNT, TBS, ESPN, and ESPN2. Want even more hoops? Then add an extra pack to your subscription for just $1. No overpaying, no overcommitting, just tournaments so crazy they'd be crazy to miss. Visit sling.com to learn more. Sling lets you do that.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, golden nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
Introducing the all-new MLB Plus, your ticket to streaming baseball's best. Enjoy MLB Network 24/7 with live out-of-market games and award-winning shows. Enhance game nights with MLB Big Inning, live and commercial-free. And hear live home and away radio broadcasts of every game, blackout-free. Even stream minor league games all season. It's all here and it's all new. Get MLB Plus for just $59.99 a year. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus.
That was really nicely done.
It was fun. Just happy to give you a break, Darren O'Day. Remember that? Remember that, Nick Green? Let's give Ben a break. He works his tail off. He could use a couple of innings being off play-by-play.
You've raised the bar for those two. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Sent fouled into the seats down the left field line and out of play. All right, let me ask you this. Yeah. Obviously, growing up, you're pursuing baseball, but you've done a great job in transitioning into a broadcasting career, doing your radio show, and doing television for the Braves as well. 0-2 pitch, chased and missed by Wisely, got him on a curveball. Were there broadcasters that you grew up listening to that you admired the same way that you might admire a player that you watched on the field?
So I grew up in the Northeast, and so grew up listening and watching Yankee baseball as a kid. Don't worry, you get that out of your system pretty quickly once you leave. Two things. Once you leave the New York area, and then once you roll into Yankee Stadium and you get your butt kicked by the Yankees, you're no longer a fan. So that kind of went away quick. But yes, Yankee broadcasts.
It was a swing and a miss, 0-1.
On radio, Phil Rizzuto for me, Bill White were kind of the soundtracks of my childhood, and put that little AM/FM radio next to my bed on and fall asleep to it.
0-1 pitch, check swing, tap foul, 0-2. That's great.
And Bill White, of course, former player who had just about every role in the game that you could think of. For me, and I know there's probably others, not knowing the history at the time, but one of the first former players that I heard do play-by-play, and had such an amazing voice. He also became the National League president for a little while.
0-2, just missed, 1-2. Well, I find that fascinating because for guys who played, obviously playing was your number one agenda, and you probably grew up watching players and wanting to be like them. 1-2 and a fly ball to right field. Nate Eaton in line with it, camping out. He's got it, 2 down. But at the same time, and I found this to be true for Joe, and I found this to be true with Don as well, to where, yes, they were pursuing playing, But broadcasting was always just kind of hanging out as they were growing up. Because I've had Joe tell me stories about going to the drive-through theater. And before the movies, they had the Cardinal broadcast on with Jack Buck and Harry Carey.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a ball outside. And Don had similar stories as well, as both of them became play-by-play men and broadcasters after a playing career. And it always made me wonder, are there guys like yourself who played who also kind of had broadcasting hanging around in the background growing up?
So I was always fascinated by the broadcasters, just the media in general. When I first got to the big leagues, I always had good relationships with beat writers. And not being a star player, was just more conversations we would have with guys and just getting to know them, and was so curious about their business.
1-1 to Gamble. Fouled off.
One of those guys, as an example, as a writer, was Tyler Kepner, who just texted me today, said, I'm going to be up at the Braves game tomorrow. You're going to be around just to catch up and say hello, a guy that I've known for a long time. But then also on the television side, but when I was in Detroit, we were not a very good team in the late 90s. And Bob Valvano, Jim Valvano's brother, came up to me one day. He was in town. He said, hey, man, what do you think about serving as my postseason analyst in the postseason, just on radio? Would you any interest in doing that? So that sounds like it'd be kind of fun. So I did that with him for 3 years, and that kind of sparked it for me.
1-2, a swing and a miss by Gamble. Totally struck him out. And that's a 1-2-3-7. Yeah, that's really interesting. And glad that you've been able to jump from your playing career into doing such a great job on the microphone. Time to stretch him out here at JetBlue Park. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning, 4-2 Boston.
Xfinity tech support. I can't get Jurassic Park back online without... But no worries. Our Wi-Fi boosted mobile keeps you connected in all kinds of places.
Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
When it's your money, your business, or your home, you deserve a partner who sees and hears you. A partner who is by your side every step of the way. That's Ameris Bank. It's a commitment we're proud to make, and one we back up by providing financial solutions to empower you. Because at the end of the day, we are dedicated advocates for you. Visit your local branch or learn more at amerisbank.com. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, all loans subject to credit approval.
Forget something for your project? We've got you. At HomeDepot.com, get fast, free delivery on millions of items for whatever you're working on, same day or next day. We bring what you need, and you bring it to life. Get fast, free delivery only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select in-stock items by 4 p.m., subject to availability.
All value games at Truist Park get you $15 tickets, $10 parking, food and beverage offers, and more. Learn more at Braves.com/value.
Welcome back. Bottom of the 7th inning. The Boston Red Sox leading 4-2. The Atlanta Braves have gone to their bullpen once again, and it'll be the left-hander, Jack Dashwood. They got a 6'6" lefty. We got a 6'6" lefty. 240 pounds. Former 12th round pick from the Los Angeles Angels. Spent some time last year in AAA Salt Lake City. So this is his first year with the Atlanta Braves.
All right, Jack Dashwood, left-hander on the mound. 4th pitcher used by Walt Weiss today. And Obeys 9-1-2. Braves have a new catcher as Chadwick Tromp is back there. Pitch from Dashwood. That'll miss inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Alongside C.J. Nikowski and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick, Ben Ingram here with you. Overcast, breezy day in Fort Myers. Braves and Red Sox rolling around JetBlue Park. 1-0 pitch from Dashwood. That'll miss inside. Line on Nelson. 1 inning, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Braves had a 2-0 lead. Scored both their runs in the 3rd inning. And then the Red Sox came back. There's a deep drive, a mile high to left field. Gamble to the warning track. Now coming in. Wind will keep that in the ballpark. And that descends into his glove for the out.
You get excited sometimes as a right-handed hitter when you're playing in Boston, or in this case, JetBlue Park, where you essentially have the same green monster in left field. But you want to get it out here today. You're going to have to cut that wind with a line drive because it is still blowing pretty firmly in from left field.
I mean, that was higher than the lights to left center field and had no shot of beating that strong wind in from left center. 1 down. Here's Masataka Yoshida. And a strike on the outside corner. Red Sox scored 3 times in the 4th, once in the 6th. And they have a 4-2 lead on the Braves here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way from the southpaw Dashwood. That'll be fouled off. St. Patrick's Day 2026. Lots of green here in the stands.
It seems fitting, right, that you play the Red Sox, I guess, on St. Patrick's Day. If there was going to be an organization that is a little more Irish than the rest of them, I'd say the Boston Red Sox are probably that organization.
That's a good call. 0-2 pitch is high. We're all wearing green, but it's so chilly we've had to put on layers. I've got on a gray long-sleeve shirt, and I got a navy blue hoodie on, but there's green under there. I don't think anybody's got a better green shirt than the one J-Chat has on today. 1-2 pitch, that's high. Very festive. Now, it's a Braves shirt. It's a green polo with a Braves A logo on the left chest of it. But it's got leprechaun hats and pots of gold and 4-leaf clovers and such all over it. I mean, it's a good-looking shirt.
Any mugs of beer on there?
2-2 in the air to left field. Coming in, lunging forward, making the catch, Gamble. It might be on there. Yeah, I'm looking at this shirt. Okay, he's got 4-leaf clovers, pots of gold, top hats. I like that. I mean, just all over the shirt. Extremely festive. He's got a shirt for every occasion, and I think they all have a Braves logo on them.
Of course, they have to.
Nothing but pullovers and polos for our producer. There's a pitch on the way to Monasterio. There's a ball low and inside.
Based on what I've seen with the other producers and engineers around the league, J-Chad easily outdressing all of them.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
I mean, Madge, come on.
In a world of slobs, he really stands out. Here's a 1-0 pitch. There's a called strike.
So does that make him the number 1 slob, or does it make him number 30?
He's the least slobby of the slobbiest of the producers. 1 ball and 1 strike. There's a 1-1 from Dashwood. Popped up. Shallow left. A Zokar coming in, looking skyward. He's under it, and he has got it. And that's a 1-2-3, bottom of the 7th. We roll into the top of the 8th, 4-2 Red Sox.
Did you hear? Frontier is joining Verizon. To celebrate, we're launching our best internet offer ever. For a limited time, get 6 months of lightning-fast 100% fiber internet on us, up to 1 gig, when you bundle Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Visit your local Verizon store or verizon.com/welcome-frontier to switch. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply. Want a game-changing way to watch college basketball? With a 1-day pass from Sling, get instant access to the men's and women's tournaments starting at just $4.99. You can catch all the action on TNT, TBS, ESPN, and ESPN2. Want even more hoops? Then add an extra pack to your subscription for just $1. No overpaying, no overcommitting, just tournaments so crazy they'd be crazy to miss. Visit sling.com to learn more. Sling lets you do that.
Hungry? Let the Colonel do the cooking with KFC's $10 weekday buckets. Golden nuggets on Mondays. Original recipe chicken on Tuesdays. Hot and spicy wings on Wednesdays. Juicy tenders on Thursdays. And Fridays, golden nuggets again. Monday through Friday, choose your favorite bucket for $10 each. $10 weekday buckets at KFC. One big deal. Finger licking good. Only available at select participating locations while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax extra. No substitutions.
Turn on the home of baseball for MLB Network's spring training coverage. Get an in-depth look at every club with previews from each camp. Check in with the players.
Trying to get dialed in and be ready to go from day one.
Check out the new rosters.
If he has 25 to 28 starts, it's going to be an absolute great year for him.
And watch the most live spring training games anywhere. Spring training coverage continues through opening day on MLB Network, the home of baseball. Go to MLBnetwork.com for schedule and channel number.
The mound. Still Ben and CJ with you in the booth. And the pitch on the way from Tolle to Jair Camargo, number foul. We're talking about St. Patrick's Day. And this is just an amazing story. We have a holiday, and I'm always going to do a Google search onto the origins of a holiday, things like that. 0-1 pitch, ball inside of Camargo. And I learned that St. Patrick, I mean, you think about Ireland, you think Irish folklore, all that stuff. He wasn't even born in Ireland. He was born in Britain, And it's going to blow your mind how he got to Ireland. 1-1 pitch. There's a ball that misses, 2 balls and a strike. St. Patrick, born in Britain, and he was kidnapped at the age of 16 by Irish pirates who took him to Ireland. That's how this guy ended up in Ireland.
I wonder why they wanted him so bad.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Camargo fouls one back. He was enslaved and held captive for 6 years. So it was slavery that brought him to Ireland. And then he became the saint that brought Christianity to Ireland. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. That'll be fouled back by Camargo. And here we are centuries later, and this was made an official Christian feast day in the early 17th century. And by extension, it celebrates the heritage and culture of Irish people in general. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way to Camargo. There's a ball high.
And somehow we turned it into awesome shirts and green beer.
Yeah. It all started with pirates kidnapping a 16-year-old.
This poor guy. Captured by pirates, and we're going to drink some green beer to celebrate you. How about some Irish soda bread?
3-2 pitch. Camargo laces one down the left field line, and that's a fair ball all the way into the corner. Camargo turning on the jets as much as he can. He'll cruise into second base standing, and it's a leadoff double for Jair Camargo. That was a bullet down the line.
Yeah, I don't know if they were jets or a little bit more like a tugboat, but he got there. And digging deep, and a nice piece of hitting for Camargo, who's now going to come out of the game. But that's an impressive double against a really tough lefty.
By the way, Braves have Blaine Enlow tossing in the bullpen now. Got a pinch runner, as CJ mentioned, for Camargo. Can't tell who that is yet. Offering from Tolle. There's a ball low to Luke Williams. Braves down 2 runs in the top of the 8th.
And by the way, I have a correction from one of my many mistakes that I made today. Jeremy Hefner is not here. He stayed back and watched Spencer Strider throw. It's J.P. Martinez who is serving as the Braves pitching coach today.
Swing and a miss by Luke Williams. That makes sense. Stay back and watch Strider and make sure he's good to go. By the way, Jake Steels is the runner down at second base. Steels. 1-1 pitch. Williams swings and misses over the top of a slider.
And Mark Bowman giving us an update on how Strider did today. 5 innings that he threw against some Red Sox minor leaguers, sat 93 to 95, according to Bo, seeing some 96s. Seemed like overall was a pretty good day for Spencer Strider.
Yeah, another step towards the regular season for Spencer. 4-2 Red Sox, top of the 8th. Left-hander Tolle, all 6'6" of him, comes set right of the belt. 1-2 pitch to Williams, check swing, laid off that changeup low and outside. 2-2. Braves haven't scored since the 3rd inning. Both of their runs came that inning. Luke Williams has been on base 3 times today. And the 2-2 pitch. In the air towards deep left field. Going back, Ward still back of the warning track. He's there. Makes the catch. Tagging from second is Steels. He goes into third base with a feet first slide. Good charge put into it by Luke Williams. Couldn't quite lay it down in between Ward and Campbell. But he advances the runner with 1 down.
He got some good carry on that when we mentioned the wind and how difficult it is to hit a ball deep in this ballpark today. But Luke Williams able to do that, and an impressive job of base running to go second and third on a fly ball to left field.
Now Chadwick dropped to the plate for the first time. He took over behind the plate an inning ago for Sandy Leon. Leon went 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Infield is in. First pitch is a called strike.
So typical Mark Bowman fashion, gives us a nice, very steady, very professional line about how Strider did today, followed up by a tweet that says, the Braves have cemented their partnership with Quick Read through 2036.
1 low and in. That's a well done job with the way of words for Mark Bowman.
Yeah, he couldn't wait to get that news.
You can just see him smiling at the keyboard, just so proud of what he thought of. Here's a 1-1 pitch on the way to Tromp. Chadwick skies one on the infield. Drifting back Monasterio. So is Chang. Monasterio now coming in. Makes a 2-handed catch about 15 feet to the left side of second base.
So he may share a name with Andrew Jones, but he did not look like Andrew Jones out of that pop-up. He was able to catch it in battling the wind in and outs and out, but it wasn't pretty.
Now in the hands of Patrick Clohessy, runner at third, 2 down, trying to get a run in, bring this back to within a 1-run deficit. Four runs, 6 hits for the Red Sox, 2 runs, 7 hits for the Braves. First pitch swinging, fights that off foul. That was right off the thumbs.
It sounded like and looked like it hit about maybe 3 inches above his hands right there. That got all the way in. But again, that's what I'm talking about. It's a left-handed hitter, left-handed pitcher. It's a 97-mile-an-hour sinker. And it's just boring in on your hands.
Swing and a miss at a fastball, 0-2. Jay Ulmer, right-hander tossing for the Red Sox. Meanwhile, Tolley looking for another clean inning. He took over in the 5th inning. 0-2 pitch.
Look out.
And that hit him in the back. It was a curveball that got him on the rear end, it looks like. So Clohessy down to first base.
And again, this has been the conversation for Tolley, is mixing in that curveball. And it was really good in his last outing. He punched out 5 straight in his outing, and there was a lot of talk about that curveball. It has not looked as good today. And Sonny Gray was struggling with his curveball. So maybe as much as Don Sutton and I like this kind of weather, maybe Sonny Gray and Peyton Tolley do not.
Yeah, harder grip maybe. First and third, 2 down. Here's Jose Azocar. Jose swings at a pitch in the dirt. He did commit on that cutter down.
Hey, by the way, did you see the news that MLB is going to be implementing a lot more kind of test options in the minor leagues like they've done over the years? And one of those is going to be check swing technology.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're going to work on it. I can't remember at what level and where they're doing it. There's a lot of different places they're going with, a lot of different rules, experiments, but that'll be interesting.
Well, one chopper, left side. Monasterio takes a chest-high hop, sends it over to first base, and there's out number 3. So that ends the top of the 8th inning. I want to ask you more about that when we go to the bottom of the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. Into the bottom of the 8th we go, 4-2 Red Sox.
Okay, let's see. Spring brings?
Flowers.
Nope.
Oh, allergies.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, deals on the entire Toyota lineup at the Ready, Set, Go event.
Bingo.
Get $1,500 in loyalty cash bonus on a new Toyota Tacoma or Tundra Hybrid. Offer valid through March 31st, 2026. Offer entitles current Toyota truck customers to $1,500 loyalty cash bonus on the retail purchase or lease of new Tacoma or Tundra Hybrid vehicle. Cash may be used only towards a down payment or capitalized cost reduction on the new vehicle. See dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Here's a club you'll want to get into, Club Citgo. It's the super easy app that opens the door to great fuel savings and more. Sign up and instantly save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up, plus everyday savings that really add up. You can also enter our sweepstakes with multiple winners and giveaways, like free gas for a year. And Club Citgo makes paying easy with a convenient mobile pay feature. So welcome to the club where all the action is. Download Club Citgo today. Savings good up to 30 gallons, only at participating locations. Data rates may apply.
Hey, baseball fans, if you've ever dreamed of going on the ultimate road trip, this one's for you. Grand Slam Getaways offers bucket list bus trips designed for fans who love the game and want to travel in style to multiple major league ballparks. All trips depart from Atlanta and include great tickets, hotels, side trips, and even some player appearances. Tours include at least 2 Atlanta road games, so get ready to root for the road team. Check out this year's trips at grandslam-getaways.com. That's grandslam-getaways.com.
The Braves Country Music Fest at Truist Park is June 13th, featuring Cody Johnson, Ella Langley, and more. Get tickets at braves.com/BravesCountryFest.
Into the bottom of the 8th inning. Braves make a bunch of changes. They're trailing 4-2. New pitcher is Blaine Enlow, E-N-L-O-W. And Enlow, thus far in spring training, 4 appearances, an 0-1 record, ERA of 0. And he takes over for Dashwood. Dashwood with a 1-2-3-7. Here are the rest of the changes for the Braves. Jordan Groshans is at first base. Ambiorix Tavares is at second. Lisandro Espinoza is at shortstop. And Colby Jones is at third. Still Chadwick Tromp behind the plate. Here's the first pitch on the way from Enlow to Ward. And Ward takes a strike on the inside corner. New outfield, Luis Guanjipa in left field. Kevin Kilpatrick is in center. Owen Carey is in right field. Those are the changes for the Braves. Enlow brings it. Ward takes the ball low. You were talking about check swing technology being experimented with in the minor leagues.
So Fangraphs had an exclusive article that just came out yesterday about all the things that we're going to see in the experiments that MLB is going to have at the minor league level.
Ward with a tapper back to the mound, glove by Inlow, underhand feed to the bag, one down.
There's some simple ones, like they're going to have the starting pitcher reentry rule that we see in spring training. They're going to do that at the Arizona Complex League, Florida State League, Dominican Summer League. Sounds like just for younger players to be able to keep them healthy, as that's the development league. But as far as ABS system goes, in the Pacific Coast League, beginning on May 5th, the pitcher, batter, or catcher may appeal an umpire's decision regarding whether the batter swung at a pitch. They're calling it the check swing challenge, which sounds like a contest that you might enter.
Third caller wins the check swing challenge.
And here's the thing, and I've seen this talked about before, and I think this is where pitchers are going to get very upset, as we have a challenge happening right now.
This is Christian Campbell at the plate. Red Sox are challenging this. It was called a strike. And this will be confirmed.
So when I have seen this and when they have broken it down, they talk about a 45-degree angle, essentially here, which would always seem like a swing to us watching the game. It almost lined up with the foul lines. If you can imagine the barrel, 45 degrees from the knob of the bat. So there's going to be a lot of what we would consider swings not called swings. Check
one
swings.
Is low. Sorry, so let me ask you this. Are they going to review that with super slow-mo cameras, or is it still the same Hawkeye system that we're using for ABS?
I don't know exactly what system they're using. It's probably the same, since that's what they have in the ballparks, but it is essentially, they're not looking to see.
1-1 is low, 2-1.
They're not using their own judgment. It's going to be a measurement that they're going to get off of this, so probably through the Hawkeye system. But basically, if you exceed 45 degrees, then that will be considered a swing. That is significant.
There's the 2-1. There's a called strike.
Don't know if the technology is there yet. It's not a bad idea, because we know it's tough, right? There's no real specific rules on the check swing, right? It can be a little ambiguous for umpires and what they're looking for, and change umpire to umpire.
2-2 low and outside. Well, it has to be fast.
Yeah.
Because when we have a check swing now, they just point at a first or third base umpire. Here's your result. I mean, it's the whole thing takes place in a span of 2 seconds.
Yeah. But I think calls that certainly can be disputed, right? Even after we have the call, and because it is a judgment call, I think that's probably a little bit of the issue.
3-2 is low, and there's a one-out walk. So basically, we'll still have the check swings in the hands of the first and third base umpires, but if they really feel like they've been robbed, they can challenge it.
Yeah, which, again, in this situation, you probably don't want your hitters doing, because they don't ever believe they swing at pitches unless they make contact and the ball's in play. It did, which was interesting, change the strikeout rate, because they did this in the Florida State League.
Pitch to Chang, shows bunt, and he did go 0-1.
Brought it down by 3%, which is somewhat significant. This is baseball wanting to have more action, more balls in play, less strikeouts, right? The strikeouts have been an issue in the game. So they gave us a little bit of a test run.
Ball high and outside.
In the Florida State League, but now they're going to bring it to AAA and the PCL starting in May.
You think Ronald Acuna Jr. would have enjoyed having that in that game versus Japan the other night?
I think so. I think he very much would have liked that.
Here's a 1-1. Called strike, 1-2.
And they do get a little bit quirky with some of this stuff. They're dropping the disengagement limit in AA this year from 2 to 1.
One, 2 to Chang outside. So with a runner at first base, you get one disengagement to throw over. After that, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think because we are starting to see a correction on the stolen bases. While they jumped up pretty big, they've come down a couple percentage points since. And this is something, again, that baseball is really like, seeing more of that action.
Time called by Sung-Chae Chang.
Here's the big one, though, that I find most fascinating. We'll see whether or not this sticks. Repositioning second base.
2-2 pitch. That swung on, missed, and he just struck him out with a cutter. Where do they want to put it?
So it's interesting. If you look at a field diagram, it's actually not lined up right where you normally have second base. And so they basically want to bring it in toward home plate by about 9 inches.
So are they saying they want the mound to be exactly halfway between the plate and second base?
I think so. It's that they want second base essentially inside the diamond of the bases.
Interesting. Now that seems foreign.
9 inches is a lot.
There's a ball inside. Huh.
And think about when the bases got bigger, we went to 18 inches. First base to second base was increased, or shortened, I should say, by 4.5 inches. So you're talking about doubling that again a second time around.
Pick off to first. Campbell back in with a dive.
And again, with the idea of encouraging more stolen bases. But yeah, if you sit there and like lay out a diagram, I guess second base doesn't actually sit within the diamond, and that's what they wanted to do.
1-0 pitch to Chang. Strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Red Sox leading the Braves 4-2. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning alongside C.J. Nikowski and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you from JetBlue Park in Fort Myers. There's the pitch on the way. That misses high.
So I like that we're always looking to improve the game. I'm also really happy that it's not happening while I was playing in the minor leagues, where you had to be a crash test dummy, essentially, for all these different ideas.
Actually, this is Ward at the plate. There's a ball outside. I thought they had Ward leading off, but that was Sogard.
Well, if it makes you feel any better on the Red Sox television broadcast, they don't have it right either.
And none of these changes straight up. Runner goes 3-1. Spoiled foul down the right field line.
And speaking of spoil, I feel like we spoil everybody else because we're fortunate to get the changes and where things are going to go and how it's going to look in the lineup ahead of time. It seems like every team should do that. The reaction from Joe Castiglione today when we handed him that paper, he saw the paper, he was like, what? They give you the substitutions before the game?
This is a thing? It's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
He's been doing it for, 50 years?
Yeah. Campbell on the move, 3-2 pitch low. So Inlow loses him. That puts runners at first and second. Second walk allowed by Blaine Inlow. And now Martinez will come out there to the mound and visit with Inlow. Braves in the 9th will have the top of the order due up. Red Sox looking to beat the Braves for the first time this spring. Braves have won each of the first 2 meetings of the 4 that we'll see the Red Sox for this spring. We'll see them again towards the end of the week. I believe that'll be Saturday. Braves have back-to-back games down here at Fort Myers this weekend. Yeah, we'll see the Red Sox right back here on Saturday and then face the Twins on Sunday. So the rest of the way here in the Grapefruit League for the Braves. Home game tomorrow against the Phillies. Off day Thursday. Then a night game Friday night versus the Pirates. Then into the weekend at Boston right here, at Minnesota, crosstown in Fort Myers. Then we go up to Bradenton to see the Pirates. Then at home against the Rays, and that's that. I mean, the finish line is in sight for the Grapefruit League. Bat in the hands of Vinny Capra. Capra right edge, a single. 601. Red Sox leading 4-2 in the top of the ninth. Runners at first and second, no one out. 2-1 to Groshans and a fly ball deep down the right field line, but slicing foul. That's onto the rooftop down the right field line. Big canopy rooftop covers the stands from pole to pole.
What do you think about probably 60% of the fans still here? It's a good amount that have stuck around in this game, but no doubt some people, if you're taking the day off work to come to this game, you also got some March 17th plans as well here for St. Patrick's Day.
2-2 fouled back. Well, if there are fans here who are undecided when the morning started as to should I go to the beach today or the ballpark, all you got to do is look at your phone, see the temperature, and say, forget the beach. Got to go to the ballpark. Too cold. It was 55 degrees when we started the game. Slow creep up into the low 60s. 3-2 pitch, fouled off again.
And I imagine if you have the opportunity to sit in the Green Monster, you're going to take it regardless. And it's a little different here. You can sit at the top just like you can at Fenway, but it's also open. I don't know, call it maybe the upper third or so, where they've opened up that wall. There's nets in front of it. You still have to go up over the entire wall for a home run. But they certainly have provided some pretty neat seats here at JetBlue Park that, again, replicate Fenway, but also a little different there in the Green Monster.
3-2, slugged in the air, out to left field, down for a base hit. That's going to go to the warning track. Coming around third base to score, Espinoza, and the Braves back on the board. It's now a one-run game as the Braves pick up their first run since the third inning. And it's a base hit by Jordan Groshans to make it a 4-3 game. Still no one out, and runners at first and second.
And did a good job turning on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and a really nice job in left field to cut that ball off and to keep the Braves runners over at first and second. I thought maybe there'd be an opportunity for extra bases, but a really nice job there in left field to make sure that ball did not get to the wall.
Braves have L.J. McDonough tossing in the bullpen. So if we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, it would likely be his. Question is what will the score be if we get there? First pitch misses to Guanipa. 1 ball and no strikes. Tavares at second, Groshans at first. Right on right matchup of the pitch to Guanipa. Sent foul.
And also some action in that Red Sox bullpen as well. These are never fun when you get a chance as a non-roster invitee. If you're coming over from minor league camp, get to pitch in a big league game, to have one get away from you the way it is so far here in the ninth.
Base hit could tie the game. 1-1. Guanipa sends one foul. Tell you what, going back to your discussion about the seats in this ballpark, if I were a fan today, the one place I'd want to be is sitting inside the wall. I'd shield the wind.
Yeah, they have all the awnings, I guess, or the umbrellas for some of the seats up there. They're all closed today up top because of the wind.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Those things would have flown off. 1-2 fouled off. He tried to get a hold of one of those things, be Mary Poppins going over the outfield.
It could get back to Northport a little bit quicker that way, though. You got J-Chat on there with his green shirt.
Yeah, let's fly back on an umbrella. We'll be there in 20 minutes. 1-2 on Guanipa. Groshans and Tavares take their leads at first and second. 1-2 pitch. Sky high, shallow right, by the line. Castro into foul ground, and the wind continues to push. He slides and makes the catch. Tavares tags from second, head first slide to third. He's in there. Great hustle. First and foremost, that was a great catch by Castro. I thought the wind was going to push it away from him. He went into a feet first slide on the warning track by the tarp and made the squeeze, and then alertly Tavares took off and tagged.
And he actually made a pretty strong throw as well. This was not an easy play. As you mentioned, the wind is blowing every ball that we have seen today that way, but he also had to contend with his second baseman. They were kind of getting there at the same time, so you're going full speed. Of course, you're calling everybody off. If you're the outfielder, you have the better look at it. But just a terrific play to be able to pull that one in.
And now it's in the hands of Jake Steels. Runners at first and third, one down. First pitch to Steels. Swung on, missed. I mean, Castro had to run about a half mile just to get in the neighborhood of that ball. That was a long way to go. Jake Steele, 23 years old, former 18th round pick of the Braves 2 years ago. 0-1 strike with the inside corner. He's out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And Jacob Steele spent last season between low A Augusta and high A Rome. 0-2 pitch. Got him looking for strike 3. So Steele goes down looking 2 down, and the Braves down to their final out.
Old 94-mile-an-hour fastball here that locked him up. By the way, you mentioned St. Louis Obispo. I got reprimanded for, I called it SLO. It's kind of like the nickname, and I was told, no, it's slow.
So you just go with Cal Poly Slow.
I think, or just the town that it's in. I've actually been up there before. It's a cool little part of California.
Colby Jones takes a ball high. So maybe just Cal Poly?
I mean, I like saying SLO, but I was told by the natives that's incorrect.
Cal Poly Slow does have a nice little ring to it.
If it wasn't such a good academic school, it'd probably apply even better.
There's a 1-0 pitch on the way to Jones. Takes the ball inside. Tying run is at third base. But the Braves are down to their final out. We've seen Colby Jones make some game-saving defensive plays late in games down here. Now looking to tie the game with an at-bat here in the 9th inning. 2-0 pitch in there. Got a change-up over, 2 balls and a strike.
A couple different hitters, but the 4-hole today for the Atlanta Braves, if I have it right, which I might not. Did it punch out 5 times today?
I've got 4, and then Guanipa with the fly out to right.
Oh, yeah. I do have it wrong. There we go.
There's a 2-1 in for a strike. Braves out of their final swing. $9,601 Red Sox fans on their feet. Most of them wearing green. Meanwhile, Keller comes set right of the belly. 2-2 to Jones. Ground ball out to second. Up with it now. Ching sidewinds over to first base for the out, and that's the game. Braves score a run in the 9th, but that's as close as they get, and the Red Sox win this one 4-3. For the Braves in the 9th, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. Again, the final. Red Sox 4, Braves 3. Back with the totals after this.
Hi, it's Chuck Dowdle. If you're ready for a better checking account, my friends at Georgia's Own Credit Union can help. Open an all-access checking account from Georgia's Own, and you'll get access to more than 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs nationwide, and get paid up to 2 days early. Best of all, for a limited time, earn a welcome bonus when you open a new all-access checking account. To learn more, visit georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm proud to be one of Georgia's Own.
Georgia's Own is federally insured by the NCUA. Restrictions apply. Visit georgiasown.org for complete details.
Hey, Braves fans! SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the A. Meaning SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of... The official ticket marketplace of...
That ball was crushed.
And...
Did you see that?
Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Braves games or to any other live event across Braves country, SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be part of every home team win. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of...
Let's go Braves!
Attention Braves country, get ready for Braves Country Fest, starring Cody Johnson. With special guest Ella Langley.
Come on, baby. He's choosing Texas socks.
Plus Ernest and Mackenzie Carpenter. Saturday, June 13th, Truist Park. Get tickets now at livenation.com and braves.com. Presented by Truist.
The Braves have over 20 gate giveaways this season, from bobbleheads to